Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy and 17 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
Drugs and more than $100,000 cash has been seized from a property at Clemzig. A raid at the address over the weekend also netting around 2.1 kilos of meth, 355 grams of heroin, 60,000 in gold bullion and 3 luxury cars. 2 men in their 20s have been charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. The COVID crisis continues in New South Wales. A plan is due to be unveiled for how hospitals will cope with the surge in seriously ill patients. Nine's Clinton Maynard is in Sydney.
With more than 1,000 patients being treated for COVID in hospital and increasing pressure on intensive care, Premier Gladys Berejiklian is due to outline a reorganisation of resources and focusing on ICU. The Premier says hospitals will absolutely cope, but things will be done differently. ICU capacity is being boosted, staff are being drawn on from other areas and given extra training. Patients won't necessarily be taken to their nearest hospital, while emergency services personnel could also be used to assist.
One Nation's Mark Latham is criticising a company for suggesting unvaccinated staff won't be eligible for a Christmas bonus. There are reports the Spotlight Retail Group is modifying eligibility for its end-of-year bonuses. Mr Latham says it's different to offering incentives to those who get a jab.
And we all want to get to herd immunity and meet those Doherty targets for vaccination. And offering incentives for workers to get vaccinated is a positive thing in that respect. But, geez, it would create a lot of division and nastiness internally, wouldn't it, to take the Christmas bonus off other workers.
New parents would be able to take a combined 6 months off work under a think tank's plan to equalise Australia's existing leave scheme. Nine's Meg van Lohausen has the details.
The new proposal would provide 6 weeks for each parent and another 12 weeks to share. The Grattan Institute plan also suggests giving parents that take up their full 6 weeks allowance another 2 weeks of bonus leave. The think tank argues it would boost the economy by $900 million a year. Under existing rules, 18 weeks are paid at the minimum wage to primary carers.
More than 500,000 people are still without electricity in the US state of Louisiana, a week after Hurricane Ida made landfall. Dozens of people have been confirmed dead in the disaster. President Joe Biden says federal funds have been made available for rescue and recovery efforts.
We're working 24/7 with the energy companies who we met with the heads of today, and we're going to deploy even more federal resources, including hundreds of generators, and there's more to come to restore power as fast as we possibly can, faster than anything happened during Katrina.
Former South African President Jacob Zuma has been released from prison on medical parole due to ill health. He'll serve the remainder of his sentence in the community, where he'll be supervised and have to meet specific conditions. Zuma was found guilty of contempt of court for failing to appear for a corruption hearing. Now to FIVEaa Sport.
3 words make a big difference to our local dairy farmers. Flurio Milk Company. In your supermarket now.
And it's a Monday morning. Good morning to Tom Wren.
Good morning to you as well, Mel. Yeah, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Let's start with footy, and Port Adelaide's players will hit the training track this morning as they begin preparing for Saturday night's preliminary final against the Bulldogs. The Power have some agonising decisions to make at the selection table with close to a full list to choose from. Another big prelim is on as well on Friday night with Melbourne set to take on Geelong. Well, the upsets keep coming at the US Open with a 191cm tall Dutchman beating 11th seed Diego Schwartzman. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports.
It can be a tongue twister of a name, but he produced a brilliantly straightforward match to reach the quarterfinals. Dutch qualifier Botik van der Zandschulp has withstood a comeback from 11th seed Diego Schwartzman to upset the Argentine 6-3, 6-4, 5-7, 5-7, 6-1, and the 25-year-old will now face second seed Daniil Medvedev, who beat Dan Evans 6-3, 6-4, 6-3.
To Formula One, and Max Verstappen has wrestled back the lead in the Drivers' Championship after winning the Dutch Grand Prix overnight, but he's only 3 points clear of Lewis Hamilton, who still managed to finish second. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 11th. And American Patrick Cantlay is still leading the FedEx Cup Championship with only a handful of holes to play. He's one shot in front of Spaniard John Rahm with a very tidy $15 million up for grabs for whoever can win it. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Partly cloudy and 17 today, partly cloudy tomorrow 17, then up to 22 and sunny on Wednesday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6:06, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. We've got a massive program for you on the way this morning. We'll be off to the US before 7 o'clock. After 7, we'll talk about the way in which some of the typical contributors to the Royal Show are finding ways to have a sort of show without there being an actual Royal Show here in 2021. We'll get into that. It's a happier story than I just made it sound out to be after 7 o'clock this morning. At 7:30, we'll speak with the mother of the young lady who's in a boarding school here in South Australia, wants to get back to visit her family on a rural, remote property in New South Wales, but isn't being allowed to by SA Health. They haven't seen her in months. First year in Adelaide it is for young Lillian Anderson, just 12 years of age. Moved to Adelaide. It's been a less than ideal circumstance for her. We'll talk about why South Australia is the kindest state in the nation, and the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch, will join us after 8:30 as tickets go on sale for Port fans midday today. 26,500 will be in attendance for the prelim final. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Lovely set of numbers. If you happen to be a Port supporter, increases your chances of getting in up to 50% capacity. Tell you what, I felt like I was about 120% capacity last night. I never want to eat again. Big Father's Day. Mum and Dad came round for lunch. And I went all out. I cooked this Mexican banquet. I cooked a dish called cochinita pibil, which is slow-cooked, marinated pork neck, and it's from the Yucatan. The weird name of it, it's a Mayan word. Cochinita's not, it means small pig, but pibil is a Mayan word. So this really beautiful shredded pork, like slow, 4 hours in the oven, marinated in all these excellent Mexican spices. Serve it with tortillas and guacamole. Didn't really think it through, though, because Kate and I went to the Pawana fundraiser dinner for Afghanistan last night, and we walked in, the table is just literally yawning with homemade beetroot dip, hummus, pickles. Then we had grilled chicken. We had this amazing stewed eggplant. I was had to be carried out of the place. Today I want to eat half an iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
understood. You may
explode. 2 litres of ice water.
I just want a point of order on the way in which Father's Day happens in the Penberthy household. So, do you still demand to cook? Does anyone offer to cook?
Oh, they offer to cook. I just don't let them.
So even on Father's Day, you don't want to be cooked for.
No,
you prefer to cook.
Yeah,
That's remarkable. They've signed up to a really good deal, everyone in your family.
Oh, listen, the amount of cooking that gets done means other things don't get done.
Okay.
Right. So there's like the hole in the ensuite toilet wall. That's been there since 2004.
So cooking has a sort of gravity.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of...
Look, I'd love to do that, but I have to go and make this unnecessarily elaborate meal. Did you get up to much?
No, I caught up with my father-in-law yesterday. We actually did a nice drive down south, and
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful. A beautiful day for it. It was actually it looked nice. It was one of those days that looked nicer than it actually was. But we drove down and drove down the coast and Morpeth Vale and through Christie's, and
oh, cool.
It was a beautiful day for it. It was really lovely. You know, something that I found uplifting on the weekend that I actually think a lot of Australians would have found deeply irritating, and it combats this sort of hangdog idea that. You know this expression you hear from time to time? Things will never be the same. Things will never be the same. They're not going to go back to the way they were. Things will never be the same. People say it all the time. Throw it out there. Things really have gone back to the way they were in other parts of the world.
Oh, totally.
Have you seen any of the footage out of the weekend about college football in the United States? I don't care about college football. I'm not interested in it.
Sandman.
Enter Sandman, Mr. Brightside. There was a host of others too. Now, for people who haven't seen this stuff, the reason it's worthy of mentioning, and it's not, again, I'm not into the sport at all. You can't help but notice it when it's popping up everywhere and people are commenting on it. College football stadiums have this peculiar ability to have a capacity of 80,000 and look like there's 120,000 people there. I don't think they care particularly much about, fire safety rules or other things. They always look like they are just swollen with people. And they did again for the first time in some 2 years. Nobody there gave any stuff about things will never be the same. Things looked exactly like they were. And there's a big reason for that. On campus, most people, it's 85% plus people have been vaccinated.
Yeah.
It's some extraordinary percentage. And I was just funny reading comments from people in Australia saying, social distancing, no one's wearing masks.
Well, that's because they're all vaccinated. Well, to a level where they don't have to worry about that sort of stuff anymore.
Yeah, and there are in certain places in the United States real concerns with regard to numbers. But, I just sort of, it takes heart sometimes from our perspective, where yesterday we had a Father's Day, and we'll talk more about this after 7 o'clock, that was celebrated by people either side of orange road barriers in Sydney and Queensland.
I was just going to hold out that photograph of Coolangatta on the front page of The Australian and see you things are never going to be the same, and raise you we have to do whatever's necessary to get through this. Because the idea that FIVEaa dads who accidentally ended up in New South Wales doing work as labourers or miners or whatever on Father's Day, thanks to the Palaszczuk government, could not do any more than kiss their wives and children over an orange crash barrier in the main street of Coolangatta.
Oh, that's heartbreaking, those pictures.
I actually think it's kind of evil. It shows that... I don't know if listeners remember the character Nurse Ratched from One Fly Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but it shows that there's a certain sort of Nurse Ratched element within the bureaucracy that takes an almost perverse delight in wielding this unprecedented power. And this is the exact same context I placed the Loretto girl, whose mum we're going to be talking to after 7:30. Like, sorry, someone actually just needs to say, you know what, this isn't right. This is a country that values freedom. And we're not anti-lockdowners, we're not anti-vaxxers, we're not anti any of that stuff. But we are, you know what we are? We're pro-common sense. And it's at the point now where all this stuff has to be disentangled, because it's just nonsense. Like that photo, I reckon, just going to hold it up properly here. Like, live stream viewers, go and get the paper, have a look at it. It's extraordinary. There's a little girl with a balloon, and there's a dad, they've got their masks on, over the orange crash barrier. But it was like an access visit in jail.
It was.
They weren't allowed to linger.
Because
it was technically illegal, wasn't it? The cops actually turned a blind eye.
I think the cops,
to their credit,
were terrific.
Yeah, they were.
So some people did sit there. They took up deck chairs and sat there for hours talking over the barrier to one another because they hadn't caught up in months. And the police actually, I think it's the Queensland side, the police chief there, I don't know his name, I just caught the grab momentarily this morning. He said, look, some days it's about policing, some days it's about compassion, and it's Father's Day. And we decided to err on the side of compassion. So what they did was walked along, gave masks to people, but if people were leaning over the barrier or sitting on it, they didn't arrest people. There was one idiot that turned up that headbutted a cop that wanted to stage a one-man moron protest.
Yeah, right.
That got dragged away. I think he was on the New South Wales side. But either way,
there's been a lot of protests
well
there.
played to the police.
Yeah, totally.
They used their discretion really well, from what I could see.
But that shows that the cops are onto how dumb the law is now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
13 after 6.
I watched that footage about 3 times.
Yeah.
Out of the States.
That's what the world looks like. That, you know what? People with a desire for things to go back to normal as quickly as possible.
Yep.
How was your weekend, folks? What did you notice? 822388888. Text us on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line 0448 08 1395. 14 after 6 news headlines in a moment.
This Plan Ahead week, take control of your future and safeguard your rights. Accidents can happen, or you may become ill or develop a condition that affects your memory and planning ability. Complete the legal tools now and talk with your loved ones. Discuss your health, financial, legal and personal choices, so in the future, they'll know what to do if you can't tell them. It's never too early. For more information, search SA Health Plan Ahead. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Roll up, Bertie Beetle lovers! The Royal Show has been cancelled, but don't despair. Foodland and IGA supermarkets have got your sweet tooth covered. Come in store and grab one of your favourite show bags, including Kit Kat, Milky Bar, Fruit Chocks, and of course, Bertie Beetle, with prices starting from just $6. It's for a limited time and only while stocks last. On sale now at your local Foodland and IGA store.
It's the little things that make a big difference to your day, like a thank you email from a colleague or a smile from a stranger on the train. And it can all start here with a healthy, delicious breakfast made with the goodness of Aussie-made Pura milk. It's got 8 essential nutrients and vitamins to kickstart your morning and set you up for the day ahead. So start your day the positive way with FIVEaa.
If you run a small business, then you know how the busy got in business. You have to juggle so many apps, different tools and spreadsheets just to take care of admin. That's why you need Thrive, the all-in-one management software built for small business. Thrive lets you manage marketing, scheduling, invoicing and more, all from one place. Search Thrive, Thrive, today.
Up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. That's right. Bigger the size, bigger the deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Up to 30% off double, up to 40% off queen, and up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles. Our range includes the best names in Australian-made mattresses from Sealy Posturepedic, King Coil by AH Beard, Sleepmaker and Beauty Rest. Up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles. Bigger the size, bigger the deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles in-store only. Now at Harvey Norman.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
17 minutes after 6 news headlines on this Monday morning. Politicians, business leaders and advocates will join forces at this year's National Women's Safety Summit. The 2-day virtual event will seek to address issues such as domestic violence, financial abuse and coercive control. It will inform the next national plan to end violence against women and children. New laws will soon be debated in South Australian Parliament that aim to reduce legal fights over inheritance. Some relatives, including ex-partners, siblings and stepchildren, would be excluded from court claims over a family member's will under a state government proposal to reduce battles over inheritance.
I find this really interesting, this story. One thing that I find quite funny with it too is that immediately the Law Society have said they don't support it. Now, that has to be nothing other than a make-work scheme for lawyers. Like, there's no logical reason why the Law Society cannot support this. And, you know, they're not a jurisprudential organisation. They're the lawyers' union. To say no to this proposal when I think the University of Adelaide's Law Reform Commission actually came up with not commission, but the whatever law reform body is based at Adelaide Uni. So people actually get the law in a dispassionate way and can go, hang on a minute, why have you got people who say, oh, I was married to him for 3 years in the 1970s, surely I'm entitled to something. Or, oh, I'm the long-lost stepchild, I'd like the fridge in one of the cars.
So you're saying this is the equivalent of, you know, the state government bans wine sales and then the sommeliers union gets together and says, well, I'm not sure this is good for the consumer.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, that's
surely. That's the most transparent criticism I've ever seen. Oh, no, I reckon you got a case here. Yeah. Now I'll just turn the clock on. You know, no win, no fee.
Billable hours.
Yeah, that's right.
Sad story to New South Wales.
Love lawyers, though. Not knocking lawyers.
They have a place.
A lot of my best friends are lawyers.
I've heard lawyers are people too.
They are, exactly.
Now,
said the journos.
Lucy's nodding her head, does have a law degree.
That's right.
And speaks French.
She's got the whole law degree.
Lucy academically is on just a different planet to everyone else in this program.
I don't know what she's doing here.
No, she sometimes, I think that shake of the head revealed
she got
that
lost on the way to the Sorbonne.
She too revealed that she's not sure what she's doing here. Now, sad news out of New South Wales. A surfer has died after being mauled by a shark on the New South Wales mid-north coast. He was bitten at Shelley Beach near Coffs Harbour and couldn't be saved. There's really dramatic footage. It was in an area that was totally exposed. I wasn't familiar with the beach in that area, but there's a cliff face that effectively provides a viewing gallery for people, and the beach was totally exposed. So it sounded like it was pretty traumatic too. We'll play some audio after 7 o'clock of some of the rescuers. These people that do this for a living were just were quite overwhelmed. University students have been asked to detail their experiences of sexual assault or violence on campus. This is the second survey of its kind, assessing safety at institutions across the country. Universities Australia Chief Executive Catriona Jackson says the results will help each institution tackle the issue head-on.
Evidence will go to every individual institution. There will also be a national report. All will be made publicly available. So all those people who have the courage to contribute to the survey can see what the results were. Every institution will take those results into their institution and act on what we've found.
I'm really interested in your thoughts on this next story, David, because I think this is a good thought starter. New parents would be able to take a combined 6 months off work under a think tank's plan to equalise Australia's existing leave scheme. The new proposal would provide 6 weeks for each parent and another 12 weeks to share. The Grattan Institute plan also suggests giving parents that take up their full 6 weeks allowance another 2 weeks of bonus leave. So that would be part of their normal leave schedule for a 12-month period.
It's interesting because I reckon, like most blokes, I got 2 weeks off for each of my 4 kids. I know some guys have done a lot more at the start.
At their own expense?
Yes, normally.
Yeah. See, I like this idea because what it does acknowledge is there be plenty of occasions now where the mother might be the primary breadwinner or
that's right,
has the bigger wage, you know, to be blunt about it.
Yeah.
And it probably works out even on a base financial level to be better. But on a fairness level, I can't see the problem with it.
No, but well, who funds it though? The taxpayers? Do employers get compensated by
what do you
the
get
Commonwealth?
Now? What do you get right now?
I don't actually know. I know Abbott brought that scheme in the maternity leave scheme.
Yep.
I can't remember. I can't recall the details off the top of my head. It's not that much
because
though.
I'm not sure this is that much more. It gives you the capacity and a divide. So
I like the sharing idea.
Yeah, I think the sharing idea, if it's workable financially, seems to me to be a superior way to doing things.
Well, if the other thing is if it's workable logistically for the mums, because, you know, unless you've got your baby on formula, if you're breastfeeding it, you've got to be in the vicinity of the child all the time. That's where this is not intended as a male cop-out, but the idea of guys helping out in the early days, I think is there's only so much help you can provide, unless the baby's on formula, where it can be an even split.
Everyone I know with kids that are blokes say that is the period in your life feel most useless.
Yeah, I think so. I actually think in hindsight, hopefully not purely in hindsight, because I think I did do this a bit, but the best thing you can do is be there to say, go and have a nap, and I'll do my, B team best at looking after the baby while you're trying to sleep, even if it's for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there's something in the human brain that it's like the erase function where you do like a hard shutdown on your computer where you forget how bad it is, particularly for the women when you've had a child. Like, it's obviously great. It's a great time of your life. But in terms of fatigue, like I don't mean fatigue. I mean fatigue where you look at your wife and you think, she shouldn't operate a car right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think she can stand up anymore. Like, it is crazy. And I think the human species would stop if you remembered every detail of A, childbirth, and B, the extent of the fatigue after the child is born. No one would ever have a child again. Seriously.
Be all one-child families.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't need China to tell people to stop at one. Everyone would just go, well, what do you mean it's a policy?
Hey,
I'm not doing that again. Sorry, mate. I know you haven't got kids.
You're not talking me into it, mate. You're not making the case.
No, exactly.
17 the top today. Shower or two expected. Today's probably the worst of the days this week because it gets quite nice for me. It has a bit of a spring feel to it. Tomorrow is just 17 again, but clear. Then Wednesday, 22 and sunny. Thursday, 24. Friday, 25. Happy with that sort of a weather. It cools down again for the weekend. 18 on Saturday and 17 on Sunday.
Be good to hear from parents, actually, about how they coped. And I actually think, too, a lot of this really depends on the generations. Because I know my mum, given that Beck and I were born in the 60s and 70s, I think she'd look back and go, well, we didn't have anything along those lines. And my grandma, I mean, geez, God rest her soul, Granny Fitz, but she thought childcare was a luxury and unnecessary and unfair on kids. She had very strict views about why would you dump a little baby at childcare? That's your job. Didn't you want the kids?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Be good to hear from people about their views about.
Absolutely.
Do we need support?
Well, I just don't know how a young person would look. How do you buy a house and have a child these days? I reckon a lot of people have to choose. That's why families are happening much later in life. People go, where do you?
Well, it's one of the reasons.
When do you spend $1 million on a house and then have one income?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, it's one of the reasons why both partners work these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even though, like, people, as a proportion of your income, the house is so much more now than it's ever been. as a proportion of your income. Equally, though, there's a view that you hear too that, well, maybe you should just take a more gradual approach to life. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you're
know
in your
that, but have you
20s,
seen
you
that-
shouldn't want the television and the...
Sure, but have you seen the houses that... You get a two-bedroom house that goes for $750,000 anywhere within 30 minutes of the city these days. It's crazy. 25 after 6. We'll talk sport in a moment. Huge weekend for it. Tom Wren in a moment.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. More so when you add the confusion and uncertainty of arranging a funeral. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
Got a picture of your dream bathroom in your head? Then your builder or project manager saying, we can't get that in Adelaide? Well, there's a great chance you can. Just ask for ABK Supplies, Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies. As a local independent specialist, ABK Supplies has a massive range of brands, not just the ones your builder is stuck with. Get your dream bathroom or kitchen renovation products sooner. Ask for ABK Supplies. Go to abksupplies.com.au or see the showroom, Lower North East Road, opposite Dernicourt Village.
Hi there, Leon Biner here. Have you heard of the FIVEaa player? It's FIVEaa's brand new listening app that lets you listen to all your favourite FIVEaa shows, news, podcasts, wherever you go. The sound quality is fantastic. It's like we're actually talking with you in the same room. You have complete control, whether you're at home or out and about. You can listen to your favourite FIVEaa programs at any time of the day. Simply download the FIVEaa player from the App Store.
The FIVEaa player. If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. For inspiration, visit the stunning Beechwood Homes display home in Blackwood Park.
Let's see, that's 4 20-kilo bags of dog food, 2 bags of chook food, a couple of dozen wool bales, 3 bags of fertiliser, a roll of fencing wire and that diesel generator there. Oh, and 2 dog bowls. Too many dog bowls?
Agford is an SA company with everything for the home gardener, tradie, farmer and more. Shop online and get it delivered to you. agford.com.au.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
29 after 6, Tom Wren in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. 3 words make a big difference to our local dairy farmers. FIVEaa Milk Company in your supermarket now. Morning, Rennie.
Morning to you, Will. Morning, David. Boys, Monday morning, so I'll take you through my winners and losers from the weekend. I'll start off with the winners. We were just talking about it off air. I think the final between Brisbane and the Bulldogs on the weekend's one of the best I've seen in recent memory. Just had everything.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Just as a spectacle, I thought.
Sensational.
Yeah, exactly right. Just a brilliant match to watch. So much tension and great crowd. It was really good. Max Verstappen, I think, overnight was a big winner. He's back in charge of the Drivers' Championship in Formula 1. He beat Lewis Hamilton. It's going to go right to the wire, that one. A lot of people on Verstappen's side, certainly the Dutch crowd overnight. I'm also going to give Madison De Rosario, who was a Paralympian for Australian, first marathon gold. So I thought that was a real winner from the weekend. And I'll put in a fourth. College football crowds, you would have
We were
seen
just
some
talking about
pictures.
it. We were just talking about it.
How
do,
good.
do. How good was it?
Enter Sandman.
Yeah, that's
That was-
right.
I mean, it just looked and
It makes
sounded.
you want to just get back to normal as fast as possible,
Doesn't
doesn't
it?
Yeah.
It was incredible. Losers, Brisbane, you've got to say, under Chris Fagan, although they were a bit unlucky, a couple of decisions could have gone their way. They got a poor record in finals the last few seasons.
And now Lachie Neale wants out.
And now Lachie Neale wants to go back to Perth, not home. Not back
why
to
does he come
Adelaide.
home?
He, I think, wants to raise the family. It must be, I think, the missus is obviously...
Glenelg could do with him after losing their first game of the year
well,
on Saturday.
They were big losers from the weekend, but the losers
No,
I'm
they
saying,
weren't.
North Adelaide were the big losers. They lost the
Oh.
double chance.
Well, they can thank for that. The mighty double blues. After all Norwood's done for Sturt, we
Yeah.
got him into the top three.
Exactly right. They belted North by 70 points at Unley, so great result for them. And my other loser from the weekend, look, she's had a brilliant year, but I thought it was her tournament for the taking, Ash Barty,
Oh, that was...
unfortunately.
5-2
up
Oh,
in
I
the
was
third
watching
set.
it. Well, she looked down. The first set, she probably the worst set of tennis she's ever played in her life.
Yeah.
Comes back, gets it to 5-2 in the third. I was turning it off.
You thought,
Come
yeah,
back
she's
later
home.
and she's lost.
I know. It was
Evil
incredible.
Game. Evil game, tennis.
Yeah, you got to take your chances. So
Your main competitor is your own brain.
spot on.
I mean,
a
opponent.
lot of sports
your
like that.
main opponent is your own brain. It's horrible to watch. Horrible.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Tom.
We love South Australia as much as you do. FIVEaa Milk Company, South Australian and proud of it.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 17 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Australia's Pfizer COVID vaccine supplies have been boosted by the arrival of 2 plane loads from the UK. The almost 5,000 jabs are part of a 4 million dose swap deal. Strategic Health Policy Consultant Professor Bill Botel has told Nine a portion should be put aside for healthcare workers who were vaccinated earlier this year.
We see that Pfizer seems to have waning immunity after about 6 or 8 months. So there's quite a lot of frontline healthcare workers who will be coming up to that 6 or 8 month period now. So let's hope that some of that Pfizer is being allocated to them.
330,000 doses in the UK deal will be allocated to South Australia. The New South Wales Premier is expected to unveil a reorganisation of hospital intensive care units as soon as today to cope with their COVID surge. Staff from other departments are being trained to work in ICU, while some patients could be moved between hospitals. More Queenslanders will be able to return home from interstate today, with an increased number of rooms becoming available in hotel quarantine. Nine's Jess Ambler is in Brisbane.
A pause on interstate hotspot arrivals to ease pressure on hotel quarantine was short-lived. The government was heavily criticised for allowing sports stars and their families into Queensland despite the freeze while others were locked out. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk admits it wasn't a good look. 50 rooms were offered up on Saturday, but today an extra 680 rooms will be made available to those stuck interstate or wanting to relocate. That number is expected to gradually increase as pressure on the hotel quarantine system eases. The state is also testing home quarantine for young independent minors.
2 men have been charged with drug trafficking and money laundering following a police raid at Clemzig. More than $100,000 cash has been seized from the property over the weekend, along with gold bullion, meth, heroin and 3 luxury vehicles. A 25 and 26-year-old have been bailed to front court later in the year. The federal government is urging every Australian to join the National Women's Safety Summit. Keynote addresses and panel discussions from the 2-day virtual event will be live streamed around the country today and tomorrow. Minister for Women's Safety Anne Ruston says it's important everyone joins the conversation.
We're hoping that all Australians will have the opportunity to engage in a very important discussion about making sure that we end domestic, family and sexual violence against women and children in Australia.
A shooting in the US state of Florida has left 4 people dead, including a baby. A Marine veteran is in custody. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Who loves South Australia as much as you do? FIVEaa Milk Company, South Australian and proud of it.
It's all about the power this week, Tom Wren.
Certainly is, Mel, and Port coach Ken Hinkley has to decide what to do at selection this week as the Power prepares for Saturday night's preliminary final against the Bulldogs. Forward Mitch Georgiades got through the Sandford match on Saturday, but there are no injuries, so would have to come in for someone to retain his spot. The players will train this morning. Well, amazing scenes at the World Cup qualifier between Brazil and Argentina this morning, with Brazilian health officials coming onto the field claiming 4 Argentina players have broken the country's COVID rules. The 4 players in question play in the Premier League, and under Brazilian rules, visitors who have been in the UK in the 14 days before entering the country must quarantine for 14 days on arrival.
Hearing unconfirmed reports, which we hope to confirm for you very shortly, that this match, in the words of an official, will not be played today.
A stack of other World Cup qualifiers were completed this morning. England 4-0 winners over Andorra. Spain smashed Georgia 4-0, while Italy was held to a 0-0 draw against Switzerland. At the US Tennis Open, Elena Svitolina is the first player into the quarter-finals following a win over Simona Halep. Men's second seed Daniil Medvedev has beaten Britain's Dan Evans in straight sets, joined by Botic van der Zandschulp in the final 8. And Max Verstappen has taken out the Dutch Grand Prix overnight, winning ahead of Lewis Hamilton to reclaim the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 11th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Heading for a top of 17 today and partly cloudy tomorrow 17, then Wednesday sunny up to 22. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Welcome to the Hotel California. For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. We're off to the US before 7 o'clock this morning, and then after 7 o'clock, we'll take you through some of the big stories over the course of the last 24 hours and the weekend. And what we'll also do is have a chat about an exciting pop-up stall at the Central Market that'll allow you to experience a little bit of the Royal Show, because, David, we usually would have come in on this Monday morning talking about the fact that this was the Royal Show weekend.
Yeah.
Are you a first weekend guy, or usually you go towards the end of this week?
I go to the show twice because we live just down the road from it. But I normally go once on my own and once with the family. And, because I like doing a lot of stuff that I get shouted at by the kids and my wife for, like, the garden area. I could spend, and I do spend, a good hour there. But it's just depressing, isn't it? It's one of those things that we measure life by as South Australians. And I've seen the show bags being sold at on the run and at our local Drake's Foodland, but they're almost a wistful reminder of what you're missing out on, aren't they?
I don't know. Do you have to explain it to the kids every time you go into a shop and see them too? Oh, that's right. That's the thing that's not happening.
To keep it in perspective, I don't think it's the end of the world for kids. The people I feel most sorry for are the show themselves.
Yeah.
It's people like Michelle Hocking who, works like a worker bee.
Well, 2 months ago they were sure it was happening.
Yeah.
We spoke to Michelle Hocking. It was happening 100%. And then...
You know what's annoying, though? I mean, and I guess it was a bit of a gamble at the time, but when the show was announced as being scrapped for the second year running, part of the sort of comparison was, well, you can only have 15,000 people at the footy, and if logistically they're saying you can only have 10,000 people a day at the show, and the show needs almost that many people to operate, then what's the point? But now we're at a point where things are good in SA. The footy crowd's up to 26,000. And the show people would have heard that announcement and gone,
great.
Hey,
yeah, we're getting lots of text on
no crystal balls.
Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. We just had a couple of technical difficulties in that first half hour, but Lucy, being very clever, has come up with a good workaround. So we've got some text now to get through. One reads, Morning, Dave and Will. My daughter has just started at college in the US playing golf. And you were right. A girl in her team caught COVID, and the only close contact was the girl she shares her room with. My daughter didn't even have to get a test, and within 6 days, the girl with COVID was playing golf again.
Wow.
That's mindset. It's just a totally different approach. Rob says, guys, I'm fully vaxxed. I QR everywhere. I stick to the rules, but it is increasingly, it seems, no matter what we do, the goalposts keep getting moved every time we get close. It's depressing, says Rob. To Pembo and Mr. Goodings, why is the Wicked Witch of the North not complying with anyone else in Australia? Queensland is now Anna State instead of a tourism venue. She must have had a lobotomy whilst in Tokyo. Not a fan of the Palaszczuk government, that texter. Now, another one reads, given the numbers of deaths in the USA, I think the lack of prudence in opening up is undesirable. The vaccines are lacking in efficacy. They disagree.
Well, they're not lacking in efficacy. They're not lacking in efficacy at all. Vaccines work. If you look at New South Wales, I mean, I actually think we've got to start having a much more brutal and honest conversation, because so many people in New South Wales who have died have not had any vaccines.
Yeah. Well, Dan Andrews has referred to it now as it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Now, that said, I actually think he made a really good point over the weekend. It's probably not something that I have given appropriate comment to this point. And that is in part the business of, and a lot of people say this in common conversation, there should be a date. Pick a date. December 5, January 15. And from that date, if you've had a chance, and if you haven't got it, you haven't got it, too bad. The problem with that logic, and he expressed this well yesterday, is that unvaccinated people take up hospital beds too. And so the issue is not that, well, now the worry is that people that are double vaxxed are going to get COVID and there's going to be some other problem with them. The problem is you fall over and break your arm and there's 50 people in a 45-bed ED who are unvaccinated. So that's why the, stuff it, everyone's had their chance approach doesn't necessarily work in the short term. It'll be a more gradual process of opening up than what you might otherwise expect, because the fear is it'll be a whole host of other ailments you're not going to be able to get to hospital to have treatment on.
See, part of the issue too, and this is where you've got to be careful saying that, almost sounding like you're blaming people for not getting vaccinated, is early on, particularly for younger people, there was a very significant supply issue. And part of that, is epitomised by the most regrettable set of words ever to come out of a Prime Minister's mouth. It's not a race. Well, it's always been a race. But the thing is, for the last, 2 months at least, and certainly in New South Wales, where Berejiklian's been moving heaven and earth to get our hands on as much vaccine as possible and to make it as readily available as possible, there is absolutely no logical reason anymore for holding out.
Absolutely.
Other than you think you know more about it than the world scientific community.
Sue in Christie's Beach this morning, we should rename COVID New South Wales flu in Australia, since they seem to want to make sure it keeps spreading. Well, I think they in Victoria now are almost in lockstep philosophically on COVID. They both have a view now. It's about vaccination. It's not about stopping the spread.
Yeah.
It's slowing the spread, but you're not going to stop it. It's out there, and you just need to get as many vaccinated people as possible. To which end, I've got a graphic right now, and I think this is probably interesting for people to hear about. The number of people who have fully vaccinated in New South Wales is now just over 40%. That's a milestone, 40.8. They're at 73.5%. First dose. South Australia...
just linger on that 73%. So the people who are on 73% in New South Wales, within a month, New South Wales will be on 73% fully vaccinated.
That's correct. Yeah.
Almost 80%.
Yeah, the early projections about when we would hit the 70 and 80% markers look like they're going to be blown out of the water, which raises some real interesting questions for policymakers. So South Australia, we're 55.3% first dose, 37.1% second dose. Victoria's 60 and 37. Tassie 62 and 45. Who's lagging? Queensland 53 and 34. And WA 53 and 34 also, just rounding out those numbers to make them a little bit more palatable to
We're not
to hear.
Far ahead of Queensland and Western Australia. We're not miles ahead of them.
No, we're not miles ahead. No, not at all.
So that to me says there is a significant bunch of South Australians who still haven't bothered getting their first shot.
That is 100% correct.
45%.
100%. We're not doing
That's
it well.
not even close to good enough.
No, it's not.
And this is where, so there's almost a 20% difference between us and New South Wales. Do you want to go through what New South Wales has gone through before you get off the couch and book your jab? Seriously.
All right, let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW just drove past it on our little tour of the southern suburbs yesterday, driving around on a magnificent Father's Day with my father-in-law.
Beautiful.
We cruised past the brand new Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for for BMW.
Good morning. Crafers and Sterling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60, restrictions apply. Modbury Heights expect delays Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works, affecting both directions. Speeds reduced there. And slow going at Northfield today, Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. Speeds reduced down to 40 as well. Look out for cameras, Hardies Road, Torrensville and Halsey Road at Elizabeth East. Sell your unwanted items for instant cash at Cash Converters. Visit their brand new store at Playford Shopping Centre, Monopara today and see what they can make possible for you. 100 points of ID required. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Major road resurfacing works on the Southeastern Freeway between Crafers West and Crafers Interchange will be underway until late 2021. Expect delays. Allow extra time. Visit dit.sa.gov.au/SE Freeway. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Want more chances to win big? The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is giving 5 lucky winners $50,000 each in our $50,000 frenzy. Get your tickets by midnight Friday and you could be winning big. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for the $3 million grand prize, $1 million in bonus prizes and $1 million early bird prize. Hurry, get your tickets at homelottery.com.au.
Licence M14053.
Roll up, Bertie Beetle lovers! The Royal Show has been cancelled, but don't despair. Foodland and IGA supermarkets have got your sweet tooth covered. Come in store and grab one of your favourite show bags, including Kit Kat, Milky Bar, Fruit Chocks, and of course, Bertie Beetle, with prices starting from just $6. It's for a limited time and only while stocks last. On sale now at your local Foodland and IGA store.
Hi, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar. Did you know solar is still the cheapest form of power in South Australia? So if you're not going solar, you're paying too much for your electricity. Jump on board now before the government rebates fall again at the end of December. Act now and you can save thousands of dollars on a typical system tailor-made for you. If you wait until next year, those savings simply won't be there. Get in touch today. Visit nrgsolar.com.au because solar is all we do.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Get in touch with the experts, Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA on 8300 0000. That's 8300 0000.
This is a next-gen Sleeping Duck Mac 2 mattress with its Indestruct springs. And this is a 15-ton steamroller. To see this test and if the Sleeping Duck truly is indestructible and resists sagging, visit mattress-testing.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 minutes to 7. Time to check in with SAPOL. Senior Constable Dave Muir's on the line. Morning to you, Dave.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Now, there's been an incident at Huntfield Heights overnight. What happened?
Yeah, look, this was just after 1:30 this morning. Patrols and paramedics were called to a property on Cherry Court after reports of a man there having been stabbed. Now, when police arrived, they did find the 65-year-old victim with a stab wound to his neck. This was following an alleged altercation with a man that he'd actually met earlier in the day. Now, the suspect left prior to police arriving. The victim was taken to Flinders Medical Centre in a serious but stable condition. The suspect described as being Caucasian, aged around 30 to 40 years, about 180 centimetres tall, with short dark hair, wearing jeans and a jacket. So investigations are continuing. We are asking anyone information that could assist police. Give us a call at Crime Stoppers, please, on 1800 333 000.
Dave, a bloke's been arrested at Ridleyton. What's the story there?
Yeah, this was after the victim actually had a bit of a foot chase with this bloke. This was about 1 o'clock when police were called to South Road of reports of this victim chasing the suspect down South Road. Now, the suspect allegedly broke into a food van that had been parked at premises and attempted to steal some items from inside. So when the victim confronted the suspect, he was allegedly assaulted, and the suspect then fled on a bicycle. The 24-year-old victim continued to chase the suspect while phoning police at the same time, and was able to update patrols on the man's location, obviously very fit.
Yeah.
Police quickly attended, locating the 48-year-old Seaton man on Coglan Street. So he's been charged with unlawful on premises theft and assault. He'll front the Port Adelaide Magistrates Court in October.
And also, Dave, a couple of men were arrested over drug trafficking at Clemzig.
Yeah, I heard you've been reporting on this. This was on Saturday. Western District detectives, with the assistance of Star Group officers, ended up conducting a search at an address in Clemzig. Now, police located and seized just over 2 kilograms of methamphetamine, 355 grams of heroin, over $100,000 in cash, and about $60,000 worth of gold bullion, along with 3 luxury motor vehicles. Now, 26 and a 25-year-old man, who are both from Clemzig, were arrested and charged with trafficking a commercial quantity of drugs and money laundering, and they'll front the Adelaide Magistrates Court later in the year.
How much gold bullion did you say they had, Dave?
60,000.
60,000. So, like, these are gold bricks?
Yeah, I assume so, yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, or a lot of gold teeth.
Yeah, flashes a rat with a gold teeth, as they say.
That's exactly right.
Good on you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
See ya.
Senior Constable Dave Muir from SAPO.
Why do you even need gold bullion? It seems to be a sort of narco accoutrement. Like, you just want a brick lying around to, impress the ladies, don't you?
Well, I think
Narco 6.
The investment philosophy is
Clemzig.
The investment philosophy. It had something tangible with value it'll always have value.
Yeah, I suppose.
As opposed to
I suppose it's important
crypto.
to diversify in that line of work, isn't it?
Exactly.
Don't
right.
all your money in a Access Saver account.
Yeah, non-fungible tokens.
How do you make a living? Well, just do stuff in the community.
Simon Tippke, senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. You can tell Port fans are pretty excited on this Monday morning. We've already received calls. Doug, talking to you, Doug, who said, make sure you ask Simon what the weather's going to be on Saturday for the prelim final. We'll get there. We will get there. Simon, good morning to you. Let's start with Monday, though.
It's a good place to start, isn't it? Yeah, look on the radar at the moment, a couple of light showers around, and I think we'll see a couple continue on and off during the morning, but mostly should have cleared away by afternoon. Pretty cool day still, only 17 degrees expected for the maximum today. Currently sitting on 10.5 degrees here in the city, and around the suburbs around that 9 or 10 degree mark as well. Maximum temperatures around the suburbs, 17 as well for Elizabeth, Glenelg, Noarlunga, 16 degrees for Mount Barker. There's a little bit of fog and low cloud around the hills at the moment too, so we've issued a road weather alert. Do take a little bit of extra care if you're driving in from the hills this morning. The next few days, a similar sort of day on Tuesday. Bit colder to start off with though, an overnight minimum 7 degrees up to 17 for Tuesday. Still a chance of some fog about the hills again, but should be a mostly dry day, I think, for Tuesday. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Still a little bit cold to start off with, 7 degrees the minimum, up to 22 degrees with that sunshine on Wednesday, with the winds tending around a little bit more northerly, bringing some warmer air down from the north. For Thursday, again, plenty of sunshine around, even a little bit warmer, up to 24 degrees. Friday, 25 degrees, bit of cloud around. And then Saturday, we've got a trough moving across, and I think we'll see some showers develop later in the day. So if you are heading off to the footy, I'd be planning to take a jacket, I reckon.
Yeah, I was looking at the forecast last night, thinking that's a bit rough for the Port fans. It's going to be pretty nice all week, and then the rain
Tuesday,
comes.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer when it works out like that, but nonetheless, it'll take more than a shower or two to dampen their spirits, I reckon.
Good on you, Simon. Simon Timke, senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Now, Steve's called us. Don't know why Steve knows this offhand, but he does. He says it's approximately $60,000 per 800 grams of gold bullion.
800 grams. So, don't know how much one of those bricks weighs.
No.
Probably more than a kilo, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, that's solid. It's a solid amount of money.
Yeah.
And Steve, we'll keep your number private.
Exactly.
6 to 7. We've got a $100 Wallace gift card to give away in just a moment. It's Fight Procrastination Day.
Oh, I've been meaning to do something about Fight Procrastination Day.
Let us know what's something that you need to get around to. What's something that forces you to procrastinate? What's something you absolutely will constantly put off doing? Nominate what it is for you, and you could win a $100 Waller's gift card right after this.
Did you know that South Australia was the first place to legalise nude swimming? And more than just churches, Adelaide was originally known as the city of pubs and churches. True. And did you know that Automasters is Australia's fastest growing automotive service and repair group, with over 75 branches across Queensland, South Australia and WA. So switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. They are Adelaide's small SUV specialists. Located in Gawler with late model Tucson, ASX, RAV4 or the Forester, Trax, Kona and more available now. Perfect for the growing tribe with lots of space, safety features and economical to run. With 60 SUVs in stock, Steinborner Gawler has you covered. View all our used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Schools, councils and businesses all over South Australia choose Leader Computers. For very important reasons. Leader is local and exceptional value. No matter what happens, Leader can be on site to fix your problem. No overseas or interstate call centres to deal with. Plus, Leader Computers is a 100% owned and operated South Australian company offering fast same-day delivery and setup. That's why so many organisations rely on Leader. Google Leader Computers to find your closest Leader reseller.
So now you know who was the first to legalise nude swimming. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3 minutes to 7 after 5AA News at 7 o'clock this morning. We'll take you through some of the big stories around the country and the world. The shark attack in New South Wales, the unique scenes in New South Wales and Queensland at the border for Father's Day, and we'll get your take on a bit of road infrastructure here in South Australia that's opening up to its full capacity. That should mean a smoother ride for a host of people into work this morning. We'll get you a review of that after 7 o'clock today. Right now, we're giving away a $100 Waller's gift card. If you can nominate the thing that you procrastinate about, 8223 is the number. Like Catherine, who texted us on 0448081395 and says, my BAS and GST. Ugh, says Catherine, who's clearly a small business owner.
Once a quarter it comes around, it's a pain in the butt.
8223 World Procrastination Day. What do you procrastinate about? I will borrow part of what Catherine says because I had to do this recently with the ATO. Anything you have to call, and I know I'm going to be on hold or having to speak to a call centre, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it is the worst experience. I think we had to do this recently for holidays and things, explaining to people who have sometimes no sense of what's happening in this part of the world, what's going on and trying to get answers. It is an absolute nightmare. I'll put it off forever. Daryl in Virginia, what do you put off?
Oh, I've got a dad joke for the meat tray. Not too late.
You're a day late, mate. But I reckon you can tell it. I reckon you can tell it anyway.
He just did. He was procrastinating.
Oh, come on, Dave. What's brown and sticky?
I reckon I know. You go.
No, it's a stick.
Good on you.
Thank you, Daryl.
So what about that? He's too subtle for us, Daryl.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Ros in Rostrevor, good morning.
Hey, guys. I've got a story that my best friend vows she's going to tell at my wedding or my funeral, whichever comes first. It's about... I'm known for my procrastination, and the story that always amuses her is that it was me getting around to reading a book a self-help book about a very long-term problem that I've had, and I borrowed it from the library 4 times, each time for 3 months, and just kept on renewing it until they said, no, sorry, Ros, you just can't have it anymore. And guess what the topic of the book was?
What?
Procrastination.
Ros, I think you've just won the $100 Walters gift card, Ros. You procrastinated about the procrastination book. This day was made for you. Getting a lot of good text through as well. Sue on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line says, I was going to procrastinate, but I'll do that tomorrow.
And decide to do something else.
Cheryl says, my husband procrastinates by not cleaning the shed. There's always some excuse that he comes up with.
Oh, don't mention the shed.
Rob
or
says,
the back room, as we call it.
Guys, is it really World Procrastination Day, or have they just bothered to get around to it now? Let's give Ros that $100 Walters gift card. I like that story.
Ros. She gets a bonus point for being called Ros from Ros Trevor.
That was excellent.
Like Clem from Clemsig, Ethel from Ethelton, Ros from Ros Trevor.
We love them. All right, it's Lynn from Loberthal. Text Rowie a fair bit. It's time for the 7 o'clock news. We're going to take you through some of the big stories around Australia and the world right after this.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 17 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
There's been a stabbing at Huntfield Heights. Police were called to Sherry Court just after 1:30 this morning. Senior Constable Dave Muir says they located a 65-year-old man with a stab wound to the neck.
This was following an alleged altercation with a man that he'd actually met earlier in the day. Now, the suspect left prior to police arriving. The victim was taken to Flinders Medical Centre in a serious but stable condition.
The suspect is described as Caucasian, aged between 30 to 40, about 180 centimetres tall, with short dark hair and wearing jeans and a jacket. Investigations are continuing. There's been a drug bust at Clemsig. Star Group officers converged on an address over the weekend, seizing around 2.1 kilos of meth, 355 grams of heroin, over $100,000 cash, $60,000 in gold bullion and 3 luxury cars. 2 men aged 25 and 26 were arrested and charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. Both were granted bail to front court in December. Nearly 500,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine arrived in Australia from the UK overnight. It's part of a swap deal which will total 4 million jabs. 330,000 doses will be allocated to South Australia. Victoria will trial new technology to reopen the economy for people who are fully vaccinated. The state is working with New South Wales to develop an app that links check-ins with QR codes to a vaccine passport. The system will be road tested in the regions to test the effectiveness. Premier Daniel Andrews hopes the technology will be ready by month's end.
The economy, as best it can, will operate as close to normal as possible for people that have had 2 doses. So everything from restaurants, cafe, retail, sporting events, theatre, the list goes on and on. That's what we're aiming to. That's what we're aiming to build, and that's what I'm confident we'll be able to do.
Queensland's pause on hotel quarantine is easing. 680 more rooms are becoming available in the state's hotel quarantine system, paving the way for Queenslanders who are stuck interstate to come home. There were rooms for 50 Queenslanders to return at the weekend. An investigation is underway into a cash for gong scandal involving one of Prince Charles' former aides. Nine's Brett McLeod says one-time valet Michael Fawcett took over as chief of the Prince's Foundation.
One of the major donors to that foundation is Saudi businessman Mahfouz Murray Mubarak bin Mahfouz. And the Sunday Times says in a quid pro quo for £1.5 million in donations, Mr Fawcett organised for the businessman to be given one of Britain's highest honours, a CBE, which was presented by Prince Charles in 2016. Mr Fawcett has stood down as inquiries are carried out. One British MP says the person with the most to answer is Prince Charles.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
3 words make a big difference to our local dairy farmers. Flurio Milk Company. In your supermarket now.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Marcus Bontempelli is likely to undergo scans on his knee in Perth this week after limping from the field during Saturday night's 1-point win over Brisbane. The team arrived in Perth late yesterday. They'll spend the week at the Joondalup Resort before flying to Adelaide for the game against the Power on Saturday night. Meantime, Turk Miller has been named Gold Coast Club champion. Miller also took out the Players' Player Award. Australia's Tokyo Paralympics campaign has ended with a total of 80 medals. That's just one less than Rio de Janeiro 5 years ago. To golf, late drama in the FedEx Cup playoffs in Atlanta. American Patrick Cantlay led John Rahm by 2 shots with 2 holes to play, but that lead has been cut to 1 after he bogeyed the 17th. Aussie Cameron Smith finished back in a tie for 14th. Well, Wallabies captain Michael Hooper is demanding more from his team following their 38-21 point defeat to the All Blacks. New Zealand securing a Bledisloe Cup clean sweep at Optus Stadium. The Wallabies' tough schedule continues next weekend against world champions South Africa.
We've got to have more patience with the ball, firstly. Some loose offloads, some 50-50 plays there when perhaps a different option, and we go under the sticks ourselves.
And Dutchman Max Verstappen has won his home Grand Prix overnight to retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship, ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who finished second. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Is your BMW due for a service? Then book your service today at Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
At Crafers and Stirling, expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60. Modbury Heights, slow going there. Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works affecting both directions. And expect delays this morning at Northfield, Green Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works as well. Look out for cameras, Main North Road, Jeps Cross and Peachy Road at Davern Park. Get road trip ready these school holidays with new tyres from Bow Repairs. Buy 3 tyres and get the 4th one free. Visit bowrepairs.com.au. Selected stores only. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Partly cloudy 17 for your Monday, partly cloudy tomorrow 17, Wednesday sunny 22. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Keep on running. Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to a Monday. If you're just joining us, the week weather-wise gets better from here. I think that's the take-home message on a Monday morning, that the middle and toward the end of the week will be good. If you're a Port fan, though, worrying about Saturday, not so great. Not horrible, but you're going to have some ideal spring weather on Wednesday and Thursday that's going to tease about what you think Saturday might be. It's not quite going to be that. I don't think anyone will care, frankly, of the 26,500 that'll be there. Tickets go on sale midday today. But I can't...
Rain, sleet or snow will not keep Port fans away. But
bit of the result they're most concerned about.
You want a good spectacle, though. That's why Saturday night's game was so good. You know, great conditions and plenty of goals being scored. Games. It really was, wasn't it? It was a superb final.
Really was. Hope you had a superb Father's Day, all the dads that are out there listening. I know David was looked after yesterday, after he looked after the family by cooking for them.
That's my idea of fun.
I know, absolutely. I know, everyone knows. Everyone knows. I don't think it was anyone's idea of fun that they would gather over the road crash barrier that formed the physical border between New South Wales and Queensland yesterday. Coolangatta was the scene of something that I suspect is unprecedented in Australian history, a Father's Day celebration where maybe you could lean over and kiss your wife or the kids you hadn't seen for months if you've been separated either side of the Queensland-New South Wales border.
It's hard. It's very hard. I teared up a little bit when I first got here because can't actually be with them at all.
We miss them a lot.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and we weren't going to miss this time together.
Been twisting balloons and handing them out for free and just making people happy.
We've just driven like 2 hours, so scenic rim, so from Cedar Vale area. We've just come down for the day because we haven't seen them in a long time.
Police in the area were handing out masks but weren't stringently enforcing the rules. I think they took the absolutely right approach to what was a really heartbreaking scene. Watching kids cry as their father would then have to go back to work or leave the barrier where they got to see each other briefly for a couple of hours or a couple of minutes on Father's Day.
We make the same point that we made on Friday in Breaking at 8 about the story that we're going to be talking to the mum of the little Year 7 girl who's at Loretto, first year away as a boarder. If this is all about public health, why isn't the mental health component given more attention by the authorities? I mean, what is the opportunity cost in terms of the highly debatable health impact of a town like Coolangatta on the border, letting people move back and forth versus the undeniable mental health damage that's being done, not just to the kids, but to the parents of the kids. I mean, you can hear it in their voices. How do you explain to a 5-year-old, you're not allowed to see your dad for months? It's just absurd.
Awful scene in New South Wales yesterday. A surfer in his 20s has died after being attacked by a shark while surfing at, it was on the mid-north coast, Emerald Beach at Coffs Harbour. There were bystanders, and the scenes left everyone shocked, including emergency services who tended to the man.
It was quite a sombre scene. Male in his approximate late 20s sustained significant injuries to his upper body, which has resulted in major blood. I can't even say that.
Saw a lady run down, so yeah, everyone's yelling out to get out of the water.
It was incredibly devastating for everyone involved on the beach today. A number of bystanders, local surfers, came to the man's aid, and they were very brave in a very challenging situation.
Yeah, it was
how horrible.
Really was horrible, and it's a beautiful bit of coastline. I've not been there before, but looking at it this morning, it's sort of rimmed by cliff faces, which makes it look spectacular, but doesn't provide much privacy for people that are trying to save someone's life. So
First time there's been a shark attack in that area too.
Yeah.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
There's no official word on what type of shark it was either,
No,
as
they
far
don't
as I can
know.
see.
No, they don't know. We want your help this morning to review a new piece of road infrastructure that will be open at full strength this morning in Adelaide.
There's good news for southern suburbs commuters, with a major road upgrade now complete. The newly finished Springbank, Goodwood and Dawes Roads intersection will have speed restrictions removed in time for the morning peak.
So that will be 60 k's an hour through the new $61 million intersection this morning. I think components of this have been open. But today is the first day the full power of the Goodwood Springbank Dawes Road intersection will be underway. 60,000 motorists pass through it each and every day. If you're one of those, let us know. Is it working? Is it improving life?
I think it is. It's vast. The size of the thing is gigantic. I use it all the time because Mum and Dad are down that way, and it's the way I go when I head down to Aldinga. But I really think, though, there should be some sort of monument there on the corner, on the Clapham side of the road, on the foothill side. There should be like a giant piñata, and it should be called Peter Van Corner, because everyone knows it as Peter Van Corner. So if you're heading south along
that's
Goodwood
the
Road,
southeast corner.
Yeah,
well, actually, do you?
Southeast corner should be called Peter Van Corner, and there should be a giant piñata, or like a big sculpture of balloons. Seriously, let's put a balloon sculpture there.
I think part of the actual final design, and I'll need to check this, but I think the southeast corner is where they're planning of installing some artwork.
Oh, seriously?
If Corey Wingard's, if the state government's listening, I know there's a component of it.
Can't Corey?
There's a corner of the intersection where they're planning on installing some artwork.
Giant piñata.
I think you've just come up with the winning idea. You can,
how good would it be?
You can withdraw the tender. We don't need artists bidding on this.
Remember back in the days when you used to be able to go to Melbourne? That town to the east of Adelaide used to be quite popular for South Australians to go to Melbourne for weekend to see football and things like that.
I vaguely remember it.
Back in the olden days. They used to call it Jeff's Erection because when Kennett became Premier, he had those 45-degree angle yellow poles installed.
Oh, those things.
Near all the public housing.
Yeah. Aren't they great?
Yeah, we can go better than that. I think. Giant piñata.
Now you're talking.
Wonder if Peter Van's listening.
For the Peter Van tribute. Stephen has got an early review for us for the Goodwood and Dawes Road intersection. Morning to you, Stephen.
G'day, g'day, David. Yeah, I go to work that way. I've been avoiding that intersection for a year. I've just come through it for the first time in a year, and it's brilliant.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you would have had horror memories of sitting there forever waiting for the lights to change in the past, Stephen, so happy days.
Yeah, thank you.
Good on you, Stephen. Anyone else got a review? Do they like it? Do they like the Peter Van artwork plan that we've just come up with this morning? 82230000. Maybe you've got a view of what the piece of public art that could sit on that corner is.
Maybe you've got a favourite road as well. You know what my new favourite road is?
What's your favourite road?
I love the Northern Expressway.
Yeah, it's
we went to the Barossa a few months ago, so drove there from our place. By the time you get to the what should be called Bottle Shop Corner there, on the corner of South Road and Port Road, there's a Dan Murphy's, there's a First Choice, there's everything. But you turn right, you're in Tanunda in no time. from Port Road now.
It's never felt closer.
Superb.
The Barossa feels so close,
Yeah.
which always was sort of the advantage of McLaren Vale. It felt marginally closer, but now Barossa, it doesn't feel like a big country drive anymore.
No.
You're just suddenly there.
Yeah, it's the world's easiest day trip now.
Andrew's not such a big fan of the new intersection. Says, I can't believe they've done all that work. Spent all that money, haven't even put in slip lanes for people turning left. Keep the reviews coming in. Let us know what you think. 8223 0000. Text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. We're going to check traffic. Is your BMW due for a service? Well, then book your service today at Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
Crafers and Sterling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds reduced there. Modbury Heights, slow going Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works. Speeds out of 40. And Northfield expect delays Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. Busy Maureen Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road with cameras this morning. Halsey Road, Elizabeth East and Eastern Parade at Otway. Treat your taste buds to Red Rooster's $4.95 sub lunch. Chicken, chips, mashed gravy, onion rings. You can't top it. The Rooster's calling. Get it while you can, where you can. Available till 4 p.m. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like our world-class seafood from the Gulf or our impeccable driving etiquette. From Wallaroo to Pinaroo, with a ferry ride across the Murray. The things that make our state great. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
G'day South Australia, Cheats here. Over the years I've seen some great South Australian teams, but the best has to be the team from BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. They've been looking after the state's hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953. You can find them on Richmond Road with stock on hand from quality brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Hydac and Enerpac. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
Now it's spring and we're spending more time outside, so it's great time to get started on that dream deck, veranda or pergola to really make the most of your outdoor space.
Now, well, you don't need to tell me this because I had an excellent meeting only a week ago with Michael, great bloke. He's the guy, the brains behind the gang at My Living Outdoors. Now, these people are fantastic, and a new pergola or veranda is obviously only as good as the people who've built it. And they have a nice philosophy at My Living Outdoors because they believe happy tradies build great pergolas and verandas, which is why they treat their tradespeople with the utmost respect, and it's probably why some of Adelaide's top tradies love working with them.
Yeah, and of course, happy customers, just as important, like D. Penberthy. Yep. You can go on their website, My Living Outdoors, and read reviews. You can see what other people are saying about them, because people are having a great experience with My Living Outdoors.
They are, and the whole process is actually fun. Like, we had a great time. We spent a good 2 hours wandering around the backyard going, yeah, put this there, no, don't put that there. That doesn't make any sense, Dave. What were you thinking? From design and council approval to construction, the team at My Living Outdoors promise you the best experience throughout the whole process. Visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au and take advantage of their spring offer for free installation on any home improvement project.
Start building now, and you could be living the life many envy at the 19th. Choose your architecturally designed 2, 3 or 4 bedroom luxury home package now from just $730K. The 19th at West offers an incredible lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways by foot or bike, sail or paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach or play around at the Grange Golf Club. It's all yours from just $730K, but you'd better be quick. Visit the19thwest.com.au today.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. When you need a forklift, don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Get the world's #1 forklift brand. Get legendary Toyota reliability, get world-leading safety, and get it from toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For sales, service and hire, get a Toyota Forklift.
you can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 after 7 in a normal year, and by normal I mean not this year or last year, we probably would have come in today talking about the first weekend of the Royal Show. Unfortunately, it's not to be. That said, some terrific local businesses that are getting together to try and make some of the magic of the show be something that people can experience and enjoy. Franklin Dos Santos is the CEO of Foodland Supermarkets. They've partnered up with the CWA, the Country Women's Association, to make sure that some of their wonderful jams and spreads and things they generally do a roaring trade over at the Royal Show, you're going to be able to get your hands on. Franklin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David, and good morning to the community of South Australia.
So what's the plan, Franklin? Because we've all missed the show. We spent a lot of time in the lead up to what was going to be this year's show, getting very excited about it, probably a little bit too excited in hindsight. What are you going to do to replicate a bit of that show magic?
Well, initially there was a call out for someone to take 250 kilos of jam, which Foodland was pleased to take those 250 kilos and donate it back to the CWA. Then the issue was what we're going to do with it. And I called out to Theo Maris from the Adelaide Central Markets. I called out to Spring Gully, called out to Lauke, called out to Nachel to get the ingredients ready. And we've activated, the Central Market kindly has activated a pop-up shop in the markets next to Lucia's. And they're selling scones now to try and recover about between $50,000 and $60,000, which is a shortfall of the show.
Delicious. And what does 250 kilos of jam look like, Franklin? Is that one truckload? Two?
Well, it was a lot of jars.
Hey, you mentioned Lauke as well, Franklin. They're obviously the fantastic flour people. Started in Strathalbyn, I think, and they have that partnership with the CWA where they do the special scone mix, don't they?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. They've had that for a while, and they've done very well at it. We sell it in our stores, the scone mix.
You sell all the Lauke lines. You sell the pizza and focaccia flour as well, and the sweet dough mix for if you're making like finger buns at home and all that stuff?
Correct. Look, Foodland continues to support all South Australian brands, and Lauke is an important brand of that, and South Australian producers. So from our perspective, you can come into our store and buy the whole range from focaccias to, like you said, scone mix on the way through.
Do you think the stall will be stocked enough to make it through what would be the typical show period, Franklin, or do you reckon people need to get in before it all runs out?
Well, I think people do need to get in. It is a call to action to the community of South Australia and also businesses in South Australia, where we do need to support the Country Women's Association that do such great work in regional South Australia that are short between $50,000 and $60,000 this year because of the show. What I will do is Foodland will actually today place an order of 3,000 scones to buy, and I'm going to need your help to try and get it to the frontline staff at the vaccination centre.
Oh, what a great thing.
Yeah, look, it's important. I was hearing you this morning. It is important to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And those vaccination centres are an important part of doing that. So from our perspective, if we can place an order and reward those frontline staff who are doing some heavy lifting.
Yep.
And ensuring that we're going to get to that 80% to open up the street.
Absolutely. Franklin, thank you for that. Franklin Dos Santos, CEO of Foodland Supermarkets. And look, we only have the experience with going to the Wavell one, but crikey, that was a well-organised machine. And the people there are just lovely. You just think there could be something routine when you're dealing with thousands upon thousands of people every single day that, you can become a bit impersonal. It's not the case.
They do a great job.
Terrific people.
Yeah. They do a great job too promoting excellent South Australian brands. That's why I mentioned Lauke. And have you ever had their pizza and focaccia mix? It's so easy because it comes in like the perfect weight of the sachets. So I think it's like 500 grams. Tells you how much water to add. All the yeast and everything's already provided with it. So you don't need to do anything else other than add water, and it's absolutely superb. Really good for a Sunday lunch, a fresh focaccia out of the oven.
You were jam first or cream first on a scone?
I do not eat jam.
What?
Don't like it. I don't like sweet.
You don't like anything sweet, do you?
Hardly anything, apart from Mum's trifle.
I love jam. I've got a real weakness for jam.
Do you know what I like cheese on. I love scones though. I like cheese and butter on a scone. What are you looking at me like that for?
No.
It's even better. Cheese on a pikelet.
Oh, no. See, I don't really... I know it's the sort of question that divides people. The only one I worry about is which jam to have on it, because there's no such thing as a
Actually,
bad jam.
I don't mind fig and almond jam, that Nuremberg one.
Right.
That's the only one I don't mind. Lucy's full of scone-related facts. She just told us scones were invented in 1513 in Scotland.
Oh, we should
What
see.
about
This is
that?
what Andy's on holidays. He could have got us to make up an old Russion family recipe.
Oh, absolutely
Which
fantastic.
wouldn't have happened. 24 after 7. I'm just telling you right now, wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's right. He was no, I'm not doing that.
He probably would have yelled at us.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to talk sport after the break. We're going to do the way too early prelim final preview with Tom Wren coming up.
This Plan Ahead week, take control of your future and safeguard your rights. Accidents can happen, or you may become ill or develop a condition that affects your memory and planning ability. Complete the legal tools now and talk with your loved ones. Discuss your health, financial, legal and personal choices, so in the future, they'll know what to do if you can't tell them. It's never too early. For more information, search SA Health Plan Ahead. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Want to learn to be the boss?
Change the system.
Blaze the trail.
Want to turn your passion into pay?
Ever dreamed of solving the problem?
Helping community.
Setting the trends.
The time to take this course begins today.
At Torrens University Australia, we can transform passion into careers that bring the best out of you.
Find a course that fits you perfectly and follow your heart.
Do what you love.
And love what you do.
Search Torrens University Australia.
Now, they're calling this the ultimate event, and it's exclusive to Adelaide. How's this? Australia's finest singers, Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell, will be live on stage, but just for one night only.
Warlow, Sobrano and Campbell on stage with a 50-piece orchestra hosted by Richard Wilkins in the ultimate event. It's part of the inaugural Bloom Festival with reserved seating on the Village Green at Adelaide Oval.
The three stars will sing solos, duets and create unforgettable moments performing together and alone for more than 2 hours, featuring more than 26 songs.
Crikey, this really is the ultimate event. It's not to be missed, all thanks to Cochrane Entertainment. Book now for your reserved seating.
Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell, the ultimate event, October 23 at the Village Green, Adelaide Oval. Tickets on sale now at Ticketek.
When you're gone, who gets your vintage 1951 Telecaster? Who gets the jewellery handed down from your great-great-great-grandmother? Who gets the other things that were precious to you? If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, you can trust Donlan Lawyers to help protect your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com.
Great eye care starts with OPSM.
We have innovative lenses
and a wide range of frames, fits and brands.
Visit OPSM today to receive 20% off lenses and lens extras when purchased as part of a complete pair. Offer ends September 9. Further T's and C's apply. OPSM. Life focused.
I'm James Wohlers. Did you realise at Wohlers we still make our own timber furniture? We offer everything from bedroom and dining right through to living and outdoor. We can even design custom pieces just for you. From our classic Victorian antique reproductions or our everyday Havana ranges, right through to our colourful boho furniture featured on Adelaide. If you have a passion for timber like me, come and visit one of our Wohlers showrooms at Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
28 after 7. Now, Matty has tweeted us, Matty Porkferrell at 5AA Breakfast, and I think he's got something here. He says, for the Peter Van Monument, for the new intersection that's now officially open there at Dawes Road, he says a series of large party blowers that blow and unfurl on the hour.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He says perhaps even after the SANFL Grand Final, the winning team can have their colours on the party blower. That's when we're looking for the West End. There's real question marks about the future of the chimney and the brewery, and we don't know what's going to happen there.
I got to say, Matty, too, that's a very magnanimous and big-hearted gesture, because I thought, given your love of the pair, that I thought Matt was going to say it should be the new, Crow's Corner. The least spectacular monument in the world, just opposite the Bunnings there on Cheltenham Road, Road, Port Road. little sort of 3 foot high faded sign dating back to the.
I think it's a great
the
idea.
bygone era when the Crows won the premiership.
Great idea,
I thought he
Matty.
might be wanting something
Thank you.
like that.
Let's go to his other love, which is the Port Adelaide Football Club, and have a way too early prelim final preview on this Monday morning. Time's valuable. Ensure your vehicle receives rapid, accurate service and North Point Toyota Express maintenance. It is the North Point way. Rennie, good morning.
Wilbur, it's good to be back in, Pembo. Yeah, look, I think the big story today, and for much of the week, is going to be the fitness of Marcus Bontempelli. I think the Dogs' chances, if they don't hinge on this player, they go very, very
He doesn't
close.
play, they are zero chance.
You reckon? They can't do it?
Zero chance.
Can't do it without him.
There's no way they beat Port Adelaide. I think they're already up against it, and if they don't have Marcus Bontempelli, it ain't happening.
Well, they're in Perth at the moment, so he's going to get scans today. Or tomorrow at the latest, but you'd think today, surely. And he didn't look great sitting on the bench at the end of the game. If he's even 40% fit, they're putting him out there.
Oh, he'll be jabbed up to the gizzards, won't he?
Yeah. So it's a massive call for them. The other one is Cody
Jabbed
Waitman.
up to the gizzards.
Cody Waitman, I mean, he was concussed. Are they going to try and
He can't play.
loophole their way around this? Surely they can't.
He has to. That's a big out for them too. Well, he kicked 3 goals the week before, didn't he?
Four
goals.
Remember? Yeah,
that's
and
right.
he's a lively forward, so he's a huge in or out for them as well. So they've got injury concerns, and then you flip it over to Port, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of tough conversations for Ken Hinkley. Mitch
Because all the
Georgiades,
SANFL guys did really well on Saturday too.
Sam Powell-Pepper, Tom Cleary, Hamish Hartlett. I mean, you know, all of those guys probably going to miss out.
What's
Mitch
your thought?
Georgiades.
Yeah, I was going to say Georgiades is the one.
I think a bit depends on the weather.
I just like having him in there.
Same. I'm a huge fan, but
There
I
are
think
those-
Marshall is playing the best he's played all year.
He is. But there are those guys that mean you don't need perfect forward entries.
Mhm.
And it only has to happen 2 or 3 times a game where an imperfect kick forward, they can mark it in a pack, break the game. It's heartbreaking for a team that's applied pressure up the ground and you get a dodgy kick inside 50 and he just crashes across and takes a huge mark.
Sometimes you want to lose a toss in cricket and you're fine with that. It's the same with this with Ken Hinkley. You'd almost like an injury or two so that you don't have to have that awkward conversation. But that's why you get paid to be a coach. And it's like the big managers, CEOs.
That's it.
This is where you make your money. Tough decision.
Tom, just quickly, you're mates with Ken Hinkley. You get on like a house on fire. How's he feeling at the moment?
He's nervous, no doubt. You know, it's the one box he hasn't ticked. Getting to a grand final, 60% winning record, but they're ready.
Yeah, I think
this is it for
Yep.
Port this week. This
Yeah.
is the time. Has to be. I think they're ready to go.
All right, well, we'll have some of those questions answered, maybe even as soon as today
Yep.
with the Bontempelli situation, and over the course of the week, we'll get closer to prelim final at the Adelaide Oval. It's going to be
Can't
massive.
wait.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks,
Cheers,
boys.
Tom. The time's valuable, so ensure your vehicle will receive rapid, accurate service with North Point Toyota Express Maintenance. It is the North Point way.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy 17 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
A man's in hospital following a stabbing at Huntfield Heights. Patrols and paramedics were called to Sherry Court just after 1:30 this morning. A 65-year-old had a stab wound to his neck following an altercation with a man he'd met earlier in the day. Senior Constable Dave Muir says the suspect left prior to police attending.
Now, the suspect described as being Caucasian, aged around 30 to 40 years, about 180 centimetres tall with short dark hair, wearing jeans and a jacket. So investigations are continuing.
More than 1,700 South Australians and 82 businesses have been fined for blatantly breaching COVID-19 rules. The fines total $2.2 million. A further 2,400 people and 1,600 businesses have been issued with cautions. The figures date back to March last year. SAPOL says they take an education-first approach to breaches, as most are accidental or inadvertent. Australia's Pfizer COVID vaccine suppliers have been boosted by the arrival of 2 plane loads from the UK. The almost 500,000 jabs are part of a 4 million dose swap deal. Task Force Commander Lieutenant General John Fruin has told Today supply is no longer an issue.
We've got the supply, we've got the distribution networks now. We've now got more than about 9,400 places people can go to get vaccinated. We intend over the next couple of weeks to make that more than 10,000. So really it all just does come down now to people turning up.
The COVID crisis continues in New South Wales. A plan is due to be unveiled for how hospitals will cope with the surge in seriously ill patients. Nine's Clinton Maynard is in Sydney.
With more than 1,000 patients being treated for COVID in hospital and increasing pressure on intensive care, Premier Gladys Berejiklian is due to outline a reorganisation of resources and focusing on ICU. The Premier says hospitals will absolutely cope, but things will be done differently. ICU capacity is being boosted, staff are being drawn on from other areas and given extra training. Patients won't necessarily be taken to their nearest hospital, while emergency services personnel could also be used to assist.
It's estimated about 100 Americans remain in Afghanistan 5 days after US soldiers left Kabul. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese reports.
Kabul airport has reopened for limited domestic flights and supply runs, but international flights are yet to resume. There are around 100 Americans who remain in Afghanistan. The White House hoping Qatar can start flying civilian planes in and out of Kabul soon. Chief of Staff Ron Klain.
We're obviously going to look to see if Americans can be part of those flights. We are going to find ways to get them, the ones that want to leave, to get them out of Afghanistan.
More than 120,000 people have been evacuated since the Taliban took control 3 weeks ago.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Who loves South Australia as much as you do? Fleurieu Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port's players will train this morning at Alberton as they start to focus on Saturday night's prelim final against the Bulldogs. Meantime, there's reports this morning Lachie Neale wants out of Brisbane. Neale and his wife are expecting their first child and they want to be closer to family in Western Australia. To golf, American Patrick Cantlay is the FedEx Cup champion after claiming a one-shot win ahead of Spain's John Rahm in Atlanta. The 29-year-old putting from 11 feet on the last to claim the victory.
Tap-in birdie for Cantlay on the biggest day of his career. FedEx Cup champion Patrick Cantlay at 21 under.
That audio there, thanks to Fox. Now that win is worth, can you believe it, $15 million, while Rahm picks up $5 million for coming second. Aussie Cameron Smith finished in a tie for 14th and still collects about $600,000. Well, at the US Tennis Open, Alina Svitolina is into the quarterfinals with a 6-3 win over Simona Halep. On the men's side of things, Botic van der Zandschulp has knocked out Diego Schwartzman in 5 sets. Daniil Medvedev had a straight sets win over Dan Evans. And in some Formula One, Max Verstappen has retaken the lead in the Drivers' Championship following a win at the Dutch Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton was second, while Daniel Ricciardo came 11th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Cravers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds are at 60. Modbury Heights expect delays. Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works. Speeds also reduced. Getting busy for the drive-in, Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. And look over cameras, May Terrace, Brooklyn Park, Midway Road, Elizabeth Park and President Avenue at Andrews Farm. Don't miss out on Rivergum's 25k of home upgrades with 30 premium choices at no extra cost. End September 30. Visit rivergumhomes.com.au. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Partly cloudy 17 today, partly cloudy tomorrow 17, then up to 22 and sunny on Wednesday. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 8. We received a huge response to Friday's Breaking at 8 about Lillian Anderson, who is a 12-year-old boarding student at an Adelaide college who calls a 94,500 acre station 2 hours drive northeast of Broken Hill home. It's a home she's not able to return to because SA Health have said it's not safe. Her mother, Britt Anderson, joins us now on 5AA Breakfast. Britt, good morning to you. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled to be talking to you, Britt, although we kind of wish that we didn't have to, because I, as a parent, I just, for the life of me, cannot understand the logic and the callousness behind this decision.
It is quite frustrating, yes. Believe me, there's a lot of frustrated bushies with children in Adelaide. There's two reasons for the frustration. One is the unable to go and collect your children. We can bring them back to our stations. It's the return trip that is the problem. At the moment, it's 2 weeks isolation on return, which means 2 weeks into the new school term, which means 2 weeks of them by themselves. It just doesn't make sense considering they're on remote properties anyway, and that's even if you're allowed into the state to pick them up to start with.
Britt, how's Lillian holding up? Because I understand it's her first year here in Adelaide. Lots of adjustments, new school, new place you're calling home. I imagine it's pretty tough.
I'm actually not telling her the whole story at the moment because I just know she's not going to be able to handle it. At 12, she's not mature enough to be able to process that and be able to concentrate on her school and everything else that's going on around her. As you can imagine, going from school of the air with your little sister and your mum in a schoolroom to a classroom-based learning and in a boarding house, that's enough change for one, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Just in terms of the logistics of all of this, Britt, how do you deal with SA Health? Is it via email or is there someone there that you've sort of been able to buddy up with who you can ring? What's the process?
It's a very anonymous type process. When you go on to do a health exemption, you have to create an account and then you put in your application. So any time that you want to check on your application or anything like that, there is a 1-800 number, but they're actually unable to tell you where your application is. They're only able to offer you information, for an example, what tick box to tick in the criteria, questions like that. They are unable to give you any information on where your application is in the process, which is another frustrating part about the application because there is no tick box for agricultural people or for boarding school children. We have to go in the other category. And as you can imagine, there'd be thousands and thousands in the other category and probably at the bottom of a very long inbox.
The other thing I think I read, because it was the Advertiser who had this story first before we latched onto it as breaking at 8 on Friday, Britt, but correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is you and your husband are both vaccinated, aren't you?
That's correct, yes.
So if Lillian was to come home, so if you as fully vaccinated Australians, we use the term Australians because we are all Australians, you're not New South Welsh, we're not South Australian, we're Aussies. So you and your husband could drive here with a full tank of juice, not stop, not see anyone else, take your young girl home to the farm, which is in the middle of nowhere, and not have any other contact with anybody else. And you could repeat that process so that she could return to school. You wouldn't have any contact with anyone, and they've still said no.
Absolutely, 100% correct. Well, they actually haven't said no. They haven't given us any response. It's been complete radio silence. I put in my first application on the 2nd of August because we actually own a farm in South Australia near Victor Harbour in Back Valley, and we wanted to go down and check on our used lambing down there, and we still haven't even got a response from that. And I've put in 2 other applications since, one to be able to come down and collect Lily, and the other one for Lily to return.
Yeah. Hey, so Brett, if you don't get an exemption granted this time around for school holidays, presumably you have to wait till the end of the year for Lily to come home. And at that point, how long will it have been since you've seen her?
Since the July school holiday.
So it'll be just about almost 6 months.
Yes, that's right.
And how old is she again?
She's 12. She'll be 13 in October.
Living in a new town, going to a new school.
And very much a bush kid. She's actually found a creek nearby the boarding house and has been sliding down there in the mud.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Brett, look, good luck with it all. We'll continue to make as much noise about it as we can, but it does seem that this is a case where, you know, clearly common sense can and should prevail. And we wish you all the very best with your battle with the anonymous person who's dealing with your specially generated request form to see your own child.
Yes, it's quite frustrating, isn't it?
Oh, beyond frustrating. It's crazy. Good on you, Britt. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
See, this is where, and none of this is a crack at Nicola Spurrier. We're lucky to be here in South Australia, and none of it's a crack at Grant Stevens either. But someone just needs to sit down and go, okay, This family's fully vaccinated. We are at a point where we need to start having more sensible discussions about this that are not along the lines of, sorry, computer says no.
We can do 24-hour turnaround testing now too.
Because one thing to his credit, the Commissioner has been mindful of all along is, the erosion of public confidence in the measures that are being taken. This strikes me as something that, to use my old stuff this for a joke graph, this is the stuff this for a joke graph on steroids, isn't it? The people just go, well, bugger that. Like, seriously?
We've got some text coming through on the subject matter on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line. Mark in Para Hill says, this poor child, my girl is 13. Come on, people. Let's somehow voice our disapproval and get this girl home. People power. Thank you, Mark. Dave says, why is Spurrier never questioned over things like this?
Well, Dave, we have spent the last 10 minutes questioning it. We did it again on Friday morning. So.
Another one says, SA Health...
I mean, we're not in the position of trying to be rude about Professor Spurrier, but just to be clear, Dave, we are actually questioning the management of this by the department that she heads.
SA Health, according to the next text, have approved in one day via a lawyer's letter an SA resident to leave SA and visit their holiday home in Europe. How can that be allowed? And this family can't see their daughter.
Well, here's another plan. Maybe 12-year-old Lily should say, I've decided that I'm not a Loretto boarder, I'm a football team.
I got finals to play.
Yeah. What's the difference?
The sterile corridor.
She needs a sterile corridor.
Surely two vaccinated people driving from a remote 94,500-acre property and back to get their daughter is a sterile corridor.
Corridors don't get more sterile than that.
All right, let's...
This is where, though, the Premier needs to step into this and say, listen, this is garbage. We got to fix this one.
I'm at the...
Or do we just go, well...
I'm past expecting our political representatives to fight the fight against the authorities on these sorts of things. Because they don't see the political return on fighting with Nicholas Spurrier, fighting with any health officer or any emergency commander. They just don't see any...
This is a health issue. The health and well-being of a 12-year-old kid.
I just think, well, you know what they say, hope in one hand.
Okay, we'll put it on Nick Reid, the head of Premier and Cabinet. He sits on the Transition Committee.
Yep.
If he's the Premier's representative there, I think most people in South Australia would think, no, sorry, this doesn't pass the front bar test. So there's a chance for the Parliament, represented to the extent that it is under the current clunky arrangements by the head of Premier and Cabinet on the Transition Committee, to put his hand up and say, he's a good bloke, big-hearted bloke, used to head Bank SA, used to do a lot of great charity work, sponsoring all sorts of things. We used to have him on the show a lot before he disappeared into the bureaucratic vortex. If nothing happens on this, it shows that the bureaucratic vortex is actually running the show.
13 minutes to 8. Let's check traffic. Is your BMW due for a service? Well, then book your service today. Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds are at 60. Modbury Heights expect delays on Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works. And Northfield today expect delays Green Junction Road near Hampstead Road. Busy Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road, and South Road, Dawes Road to Corunna Avenue. Look out for cameras, Howard Street, Linswood, and Main North Road at Jeps Cross. The Suicide Squad, starring our very own Margot Robbie. This is the epic supervillain film of the year. Fast track from cinemas to your home. The Suicide Squad, new to buy or rent on digital now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Participate in a clinical trial and forge the future of modern medicine. A potential treatment for dementia is being trialled at CMAX in the Adelaide CBD. The trial requires healthy adults aged 18 to 65 to stay at the facility for 7 consecutive nights. All eligible participants are paid for their time. Sign up for CM5421 at cmax.com.au. That's cmax.com.au.
I don't really like talking on radio, but I do like talking about our cows at the Fleurieu Milk Company. And I love helping support SA dairy farmers. They're a great bunch with beautiful families. They work day and night to produce the best milk in SA. So when you're in the supermarket, look for Fleurieu Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. I'm getting good at this.
Fleurieu Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FleurieuMilkCo.com.au.
Now, if you're looking into a new bathroom or kitchen reno, Now, of course, you want the outcome to be spectacular.
You know what to do if you want it to be spectacular.
This is just it. What you don't want is a bunch of stumbling blocks along the way, including broken promises.
No, well, you won't have that problem if you ring the great people at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. They never make a promise they can't keep. And for whatever reason, if there is a delay or something's not quite going to plan, you won't find out by accident. Oh, no. Coxie or one of his team, they'll be on the phone straight away and they'll come up with a solution.
It's all about the journey. Coxie and the entire team go to extraordinary lengths to ensure the whole process is trouble-free. So start your journey to a stunning and worry-free home renovation with Buy Urban Bathrooms, kitchens, flooring and shutters. They do it all and they do it incredibly well. They're Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
At Toop and Toop, we make life simple for our landlords. Our clients no longer have to wait until the end of the month to know where their rent is paid up to. Hi, I'm Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Through our property app Toop Home, our landlords can track all property information, transactions, maintenance, inspections, and receive live updates anywhere at any time. Want to find out more? Contact our team on 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 8, weather in a moment. Like this text on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line in relation to 12-year-old Lily, who we spoke to his mother Brett before the break. Hey blokes, how about you carry a football? Seems a football's better than a vaccination. Certainly gets you into places you can't get with a vaccination, that's for sure.
She should just change her name by deed poll to Tom Liberatore.
Well, you know what they have
That's
on...
what she should do.
You know what they have on the AFL list? They've got the main list, then they've got the rookie list. Maybe there's a compassionate travel list now. So you can be drafted at the end of the year. You know, sort of round 7 onwards becomes Lily Anderson.
Yeah.
Round 7, pick 65 out of Loretto College.
Or maybe there could be a second medical sub.
Yeah.
She could come in as the second medical sub.
And then you can get to travel.
Yeah.
Just got to hope your team makes finals, I guess, if you want to travel in after
well,
September.
We didn't ask who did she barrack for. They're from New South Wales. They probably don't care. You can pretend she barracked for the Bulldogs.
That might work.
Let her in, but she'll be here by Friday.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, let's talk weather. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News is on the line. Morning to you, Amelia.
Good morning, guys. We have a lovely Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you both.
Well, only to me.
Yeah.
Unless Will's still keeping that secret.
I was
Amelia.
celebrating, and David's perpetuating this rumour that I've got some Latino child.
Did Graham have a lovely day?
He did have he did. I'm catching up with him on Wednesday night, actually. So we've postponed it
Speaking
slowly.
about procrastinating, as we have been this morning.
Exactly right.
Happy Father's Day for last week.
Yes.
I'm one of those annoying people that's egging you on.
How did your bloke go? Was it his first Father's Day, Amelia?
Second.
Because your little bud's, almost 1.5 or something?
2, yeah, she's 2 now, terrible 2.
Oh, wow.
And, she's a lot of fun, we're going to say.
A lot of fun. If you describe fun as smashing up the house, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pretty much. No, we went and jumped in some puddles in the morning, so that was her activity. And then she went and visited my dad, who has a ride-on lawnmower, and that's a lot of fun for her.
Oh, wow. How excellent. That sounds like an ideal day. Muddy puddles and then a ride on lawnmower. What more can you want?
Exactly. Now, still quite a few puddles around this morning. We've just got this light, drizzly sort of rain around. There is a road weather alert for low cloud about the hills as well. We've had about 1.6 millimetres in the gauge, and since until this morning. But generally across the suburbs falls a couple of millimetres or less, and it should all sort of clear away later today. But just not a nice hair day is how I'm going to phrase it. Don't do that fresh blow dry this morning because it's just still quite wet outside with just the pesky sort of light stuff, really. We could see another foggy start about the hills in the morning again tomorrow, 17 degrees atop today and tomorrow. And then, we're finding out, which, is great. Sunny and 22 on Wednesday, 24 degrees the forecast top for Thursday, 25 Friday. But then the weather sort of starts to take a turn by Saturday. So we're sort of dropping back down to around average temperatures for this time of year, 18 degrees on Saturday. We could see a shower late in the day too. But, for Port Adelaide fans, well, you wouldn't miss it regardless. So there is still a slight chance of a shower, but, it's not going to be enough to certainly put anyone off their game, is how I'm going to phrase that one. Long term, the Bureau sort of released their outlooks again. They tend to renew these every few weeks, and we're still looking at spring rain that's above average for, the next few months ahead. We've got that, my favourite phrase, negative Indian Ocean dipole at play.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
It looks like it'll continue to probably about November. So that's just what, the climate driver, that's what's influencing these wetter than average conditions that we have been seeing on and off over the past few months. But for now, for this week, we've got some fine weather, coming up in the next few days.
Good on you, Amelia. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News with a look ahead weather-wise to this weekend and beyond. Let's hand it over to John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
We now present the top 5 reasons it's a good idea for Bird in Hand Winery to demand that patrons are fully vaccinated.
Number 5.
Because if anti-vaxxers are against putting a 95% effective vaccine in their arm, they shouldn't be allowed to put 17.5% effective alcohol in their mouth.
Number 4.
Because if you're letting a good wine breathe, it makes no sense if you can't.
Number 3.
Because it's a good sign we might be finally getting back to normal. That's assuming you're a glass half full of Cab Sav type person.
Number 2.
Because it's so difficult getting your vaccination certificate onto your phone by first logging into MyGov, then linking your health records and making sure your Medicare details are exactly the same as your MyGov details, otherwise it doesn't work. It'll be a real pleasure to drag it out and proudly flash it at the door.
Number 1.
Because, as the old saying goes, a bird in hand is worth 2 jabs in the arm.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. They are Adelaide's small SUV specialists. Located in Gawler with late model Tucson, ASX, RAV4 or the Forester, Trax, Kona and more available now. Perfect for the growing tribe with lots of space, safety features and economical to run. With 60 SUVs in stock, Steinborner Gawler has you covered. View all our used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Hi there, I'm Matt, a Specsavers optometrist. Did you know that every Specsavers is locally owned and operated by an optometrist just like me? We believe eye tests should reveal more, not cost more, which is why we include an OCT advanced 3D eye scan with every eye test at no extra charge. Does your optometrist? Experience the Specsavers difference and book your eye test today. We're here to look after your eye health and keep you safe in store. Visit specsavers.com.au.
Grab your best mates and these great rates, then get ready, save and go to the NT now. With Mates Rates packages, you can save up to $1,000 per person.
It's one hell of a saving. Packages start from $399 per person. $399 per person for a 3-night Alice Springs and Uluru getaway to complete Red Centre holidays, including Kings Canyon, Catachuta, West McDonnell Ranges and more.
The Red Centre is wide open and it's ready. Save. Go to the NT now. Book now and travel through till April 2022.
Now, to get these savings, though, this is your last chance because the sale will finish at the end of the month. If you've been thinking about visiting Central Australia, now is the time to do it.
And it's a place you can generally go and it's okay and it'll work out and you have your holiday and it'll be a great time too, which is kind of important thing to say right now through until April 22 next year.
That's
My
right.
mother-in-law's just been there. Best time. Absolutely loved it. Won't
Beautiful.
stop talking about it. In fact, it's getting a little bit annoying. Search NT now. Book online at ntnow.com.au. No, it's not, Glenda. I'm only joking. Call 1-800-854-854 897.
When you think surgery, you think hospital, right? Well, Dr. Greg Keane wants you to think SportsMed.
SportsMed is the only purpose-built orthopaedic hospital in the country, with world-class nursing and theatre staff, a first-class catering team, and the latest innovations in patient treatment and care.
And your surgeons?
We're experts in all procedures for hips, knees, feet, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands.
All your treatments, all your care. One place. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your successful surgery.
SportsMed.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Minute to 8. Time for our weekend real estate wrap with Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop. Morning to you, Susanna.
Good morning, guys.
How was the weekend?
Well, we had a great weekend again of auctions. We had one in Brighton, a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home in pretty original condition on 835 square metres, and it sold under the hammer for $1.2 million.
Jeez.
And in West Hindmarsh, a renovated villa with 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom on 755 square metres, sold for $936,000. So a couple of great auctions there, being Father's Day, and a big happy Father's Day to all of our dads. But there certainly were still strong numbers out looking at property this weekend.
So, Susanna, some of the banks have come out and amended their housing price forecasts for this year. What are they predicting now?
Look, they have. ANZ came out last week and adjusted their forecast upward. They're expecting house prices across Australia to rise more than they originally thought, and here in Adelaide, they're expecting them to surge another 15% this year. That's certainly like what we're seeing out there in the market at the moment, with pretty much new benchmarks being set almost weekly. When we see the auction results come in, I chat about them on air each week. We really are seeing that benchmark rise every week. So very consistent with what ANZ are saying now and what we'd expect for the rest of the year, with property selling for $100,000 to $200,000 over reserve most weekends. So it really is interesting to see that they've now officially amended their expectations for the rest of the year.
Good on you, Susanna. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop with our weekend real estate wrap. 5AA News time. Stick around. We'll tell you why South Australia is now considered the kindest state in Australia, and also the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh, coming up.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy 17 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
Australia's Pfizer COVID vaccine suppliers have been boosted by the arrival of 2 plane loads from the UK. The almost 500,000 jabs are part of a 4 million dose swap deal. Strategic Health Policy Consultant Professor Bill Botel has told Nine a portion should be put aside for healthcare workers who were vaccinated earlier this year.
We see that Pfizer seems to have waning immunity after about 6 or 8 months. So there's quite a lot of frontline healthcare workers who will be coming up to that 6 or 8 month period now. So let's hope that some of that Pfizer is being allocated to them.
330,000 doses in the UK deal will be allocated to South Australia. South Australians have been fined more than $2 million for breaching COVID-19 rules since the pandemic began. Kendall Brettig has the details.
A total of 1,708 individuals who blatantly breach restrictions have been hit with $1,000 fines and 82 businesses $5,000 fines. A further 2,400 people and 1,600 businesses have been issued with cautions. The SAPOL figures date back to March last year and show a spike in fines and cautions during the 7-day lockdown in July. 668 expiations were issued, 405 of those on the last day of the lockdown. Police say they take an education-first approach to breaches of emergency directions, as most cases are accidental or inadvertent. Expiations can be handed out for a range of things like not adhering to capacity limits or quarantining requirements.
A man's in a serious but stable condition after a stabbing south of the city. Patrols were called to Sherry Court at Huntfield Heights just after 1:30 this morning. A 65-year-old had a stab wound to his neck following an altercation with a man he'd met earlier in the day. Investigations are continuing. More than $100,000 cash has been seized from a property at Clemzig. A raid at the address over the weekend, also netting around 2.1 kilos of meth, 355 grams of heroin, $60,000 in gold bullion and 3 luxury cars. 2 men in their 20s have been charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. The search for a missing boy in the New South Wales Hunter region has entered day 4. Nine's Gabrielle Boyle reports.
The terrain being searched is rocky, steep and rugged, and making the search even tougher, very cool temperatures, just 3 degrees overnight. 3-year-old autistic boy AJ went missing from his family farm on Friday. Initially, the family told police he may have wandered off. Now they fear he could have been abducted. They told police a white 4-wheel drive was spotted on their private road around the time the child went missing. A vehicle matching that description has been seized from a nearby abandoned shack, with reports squatters may have been living there in recent times. Today will be another exhausting day for searchers, combing bushland, checking roads and diving through dams.
A shooting in the US state of Florida has left 4 people dead, including a baby. A Marine veteran is in custody. More than 500,000 people are still without electricity in Louisiana a week after Hurricane Ida made landfall. Dozens of people have been confirmed dead in the disaster. President Joe Biden says federal funds have been made available for rescue and recovery efforts.
We're working 24/7 with the energy companies who we met with the heads of today, and we're deploy even more federal resources, including hundreds of generators, and there's more to come to restore power as fast as we possibly can, faster than anything happened during Katrina.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
3 words make a big difference to our local dairy farmers. FIVEaa Milk Company. In your supermarket now.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The countdown is on to Port's prelim final against the Western Bulldogs. It will be played this Saturday night at Adelaide Oval in front of an increased crowd of 26,500. The first members' tickets go on sale at lunchtime. Still on football, and Brisbane's General Manager of footy, Danny Daly, says they're yet to speak with Lachie Neale amid reports he wants to be traded to Fremantle, where he started his career. Neale and his partner reportedly want to raise their family in Perth. Daly's told Radio Tab in Brisbane it's news to them.
Can't make any comments because we haven't spoken to Lachie, so I think the club will come out and make a statement sometime this afternoon once we've had a chance to speak to Lachie and work through it. But yeah, it's all news to us as far as we're concerned. He's got 2 years of his contract left, and that's where it's at.
Interesting times. Max Verstappen has claimed the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of fierce rival Lewis Hamilton, while Aussie Daniel Ricciardo came 11th. American Patrick Cantlay has claimed the biggest win of his golfing career, taking out the FedEx Championship by a shot ahead of Spain's John Rahm. He picked up $15 million for that win. Aussie Cameron Smith finished tied for 14th. Italy has set a new world record for most consecutive men's international football matches without a defeat, now 36 games, but they could only manage a 0-0 draw in their World Cup qualifier against Switzerland. To tennis, Daniil Medvedev and Alina Svitolina are into the quarterfinals at the US Open, while 18-year-old Leylah Fernandez has just come from a set down to beat multiple Grand Slam winner Angelique Kerber in 3 sets. Australia's Tokyo Paralympics campaign has ended with a total of 80 medals. That's only 1 short of Rio in 2016. And former Adelaide Thunderbirds coach Dan Ryan is making his way back to Suncorp Super Netball. He's just been appointed the new coach of the West Coast FIVEaa. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Is your BMW due for a service? Then book your service today at Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
And Modbury Heights, expect delays on Grenfell Road near Golden Grove Road for works. Woodville Park, slow going Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road. And Crafers and Stirling, expect delays in both directions on the freeway. They're down to 60 for works too. Busy Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. And Cameras Eastern Parade Otway and Hardy's Road at Torrensville. Hitting the road these holidays, book a Petters brake, steering and suspension check for just $28. For peace of mind and a comprehensive report, visit petters.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Heading for a top of 17 today and partly cloudy tomorrow 17, Wednesday sunny 22. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 minutes after 8, breaking at 8's not too far away. Another gong for South Australia. You know, we're now regarded as the kindest state.
The kindest?
The kindest state
The
in
most
the country.
livable.
The most livable.
The best nude beach as well.
The best nude beach?
How about that? Like you can roll all three in a one. You can go down to Maslan's in the most livable city in Australia, the third most livable city in the world. Find some of the kindest nudists you'll ever meet.
How do we put that on
If you drop something, they'd say, "Oh, I'll get that for you."
Let me get that for you.
You avert your eyes. Well,
can we put that in a? Can we put that on a? Can we put that on a number plate?
I think we can.
Kind, nude, and comfortable.
Kind, nude, and livable.
Kind, nude, and livable.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to South Australia.
Naked, livable, and kind.
I think we'll keep workshopping that, but we'll talk about it in depth.
Better than going all the way, isn't it?
Well, I think it's actually somehow less suggestive. We've got David Kosh after 8:30.
And it's a big shout out to Dean Brown if he's listening.
Absolutely.
All Lovely bloke, Dean Brown.
Time for breaking it.
This morning we just want to reflect on the extent and also the nature of anti-vaccination sentiment in the community. Now, it's our understanding, we're not going to name the business, and I don't think we should. There's been several businesses now across a whole range of different industries in Australia that have come out and said that at a point in the pandemic, as we get towards 80%, that a discussion needs to be had about whether people who flat out refuse to accept scientific wisdom and choose not to get vaccinated will be able to do certain things. And this is an approach that we've seen in Western Europe. It's something, there's a debate going on worldwide. That's why we're discussing things like, vaccination passports, and why, just before the ad break, I was copying a PDF of my own double vaccinated status from the MyGov website. I know yesterday, talking to Dad at Father's Day, he's had both of his AZ shots, and he's got it saved on his phone. Now, this is just depressing and sad, particularly when you consider the people who would be on the receiving end of these phone calls. But it's our understanding that some of the businesses that have taken a pro-vaccination stance and said that in the very near future, entry to our business will be predicated on the fact that you've been vaccinated. They've had death threats.
Death threats?
Death threats. Actual death threats. Torrent of abuse. Chris Pine alludes to it in his column this morning, but doesn't go so far as to say death threats. Like, there's businesses that have been defamed and attacked all over social media, which Pine writes about, but our understanding is that some of these businesses have had actual death threats, so much so that they might actually necessitate SAPOL's attention.
Because they want because they want to only open to vaccinated people.
Well, yeah, and people are so crazed in their hostility towards vaccines that they are now targeting these businesses with threats of violence for daring to say that for the community's good, for everyone's benefit, you have to have a vaccination in order to go. Now, just to shed a bit of light on this mindset, and I really hope this person's listening, and they're free to go and listen to any other radio station they like. Will and I got a text just before 7 o'clock, and I'll read it to you, because it helps inform the kind of attention that these businesses are getting. Now, I've got to say, this message doesn't upset me. It doesn't bother me at all, because I think it's a total reflection on the person who wrote it. I think that generally people who write things like this have got a screw loose. And, having edited the Daily Telegraph, I'm inured to this type of criticism. But this is what the text said to Will and I. When will you talk about the 470 Australian vaccine deaths, you lying dogs?
Yeah.
Now, we're happy to talk about the Australian vaccine deaths. Not happy because they are sad. This person said 470. Well, will Mr. Fastidious that he is check the TGA's website? That's the Therapeutic Goods Association that, by law, has to reveal.
They publish it weekly. They do a weekly update of how many people have received the vaccine, how many adverse effects, how many deaths.
So this mad person says, when will us lying dogs talk about the 470 Australian vaccine deaths that have happened? Well, According to the TGA's website, as of August 28, 19 million vaccines have been administered in Australia. 9 people have died. Now, we don't know where this person gets the 470 figure from, probably the internet, probably one of their mates on Facebook. The official figures are 9 out of 19 million. To put that into its proper perspective, in the same time, there have been 61,609 cases of COVID in Australia for 1,039 COVID deaths.
1,039.
So you do the maths on that, the person who called us lying dogs. And again, if you're upset with a business that's taking a community-minded stand on this issue, don't ring up and threaten to kill the receptionist.
Yeah, a boycott is one thing. If you feel so strongly that I don't agree with what their stance is and I'm never going to go there again. But how demented do you have to be to ring up someone and threaten to kill them? Who's probably it's probably a casual worker, just trying to scrape through.
Hopefully so demented that you do it without having turned on caller ID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously, it's a crime.
Well,
it's
look,
against the law.
I think even if you do, police don't have too much trouble catching up with these people.
It is extraordinary, though, isn't it? It is just beyond belief that people are that demented. And where do they get their information from? How can this person who texted us talk about 470 deaths? It's just fantasy.
Facebook, probably.
Anyway, there you go.
15 after 8. Let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Crafers and Sterling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60. Slow going Woodville Park. That's on Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for works. And Northfield expect delays Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road. Getting busy North East Road, OG Road to Ascot Avenue and Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. Look out for cameras Ashbourne Parade, Torrensville and Fairfield Road at Elizabeth Grove. Love your lunch with a Porto. Chicken salad, Bondi Burger meal deal or chicken wrapper meal deal, just $9.95 each. Only at a Porto. Available before 4 p.m. in-store and takeaway only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like the Clydesdales at Victor. Or our loveless pair of pandas. From crossing the bridge to a showdown. To the serene Murray River. Things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
We've all been on the road trip from hell. Car breaks down, map says go this way, but you went that way, and countless are we there yet? The same can be said for home renos. Nobody wants a nightmare on their way to a stunning new kitchen or bathroom. So if you want everything to go according to plan, go with Buy Urban. They've always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Spring has long been the most popular time for buying and selling homes in Adelaide. Property values here are already at record high levels, but there's every chance they'll continue to grow as more buyers enter the market. As more homes hit the market, there's increased competition, and that means it's even more important to get expert advice. With almost 40 years of Adelaide sales success, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to achieve premium results. Thinking of selling? Go to toop.com.au.
Living with osteoarthritis means living with pain, but SportsMed is changing that thanks to the revolutionary GLAD program. Here's SportsMed's Dr. Greg Keane with more.
GLAD is a 6-week exercise program performed in groups, and it continues to produce remarkable results for patients, even a year after completing the course. If you are struggling with the pain of osteoarthritis, visit SportsMed. Let's beat this.
SportsMed.
Start living life again, even with arthritis.
Sportsmed.com.au.
G'day, it's Rowie with Eddie May from NRG Solar. Now, Eddie, why is now the best time to buy solar?
Thanks, Rowie. Government rebates will fall at the end of December. So if you act now, we can install your system in 2021 and you can save an additional $500 to $800 on a typical system, which is a considerable saving. The person who waits another year to decide to get solar will lose thousands of dollars.
Hey, thanks, Eddie. So Go solar now and save. For more info, simply visit nrgsolar.com.au.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. FIVEaa Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, FIVEaa Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers, and for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 8, we're calling in another gong for South Australia.
Oh, yes. We're going to need a bigger mantelpiece.
We're going to need a bigger mantelpiece.
We're going to need a bigger pool room.
Most livable city. Best nude beach.
Nude beach.
Kindest state in South Australia. Mark McCrindle is the founder and principal of McCrindle, who do the research on these sorts of things, and he joins us now. Mark, good morning to you. Just take us through the metric. How did we get determined to be the kindest state in Australia?
Well, we surveyed 3,500 people Australia-wide to come up with this National Kindness Index, and we asked them all manner of questions around attitudes to kindness, attitudes to other people, how often they say or do something that's kind. We tracked all of that, and South Australia performed very well on most of the measures, and the top of the nation on this particular measure around taking people as they are, being welcoming and accepting people as they find them. So that topped the nation, and that's where SA got such a good score.
I wonder if part of it comes down to our smallness, Mark. I mean, a lot of people talk about Adelaide and say, oh, it's a big country town. It's probably less true than it was, say, 30 years ago. But, I can remember when I lived in Sydney, if you walk past someone on the street, you'd never say hello. But you still get that. You still get that here in SA.
That's a big part of it. And we found in regional areas generally the kindness was higher. The community-mindedness was higher, or at least people's perception of that warmth, the being greeted, the encouraging words as you pass them, compared to the big cities. I mean, it's good to see that it is changing in the big cities, and particularly in lockdown. People have said that in Sydney or Melbourne, more people are out and about and giving a nod as they walk past. But you're right. South Australia and Adelaide, particularly compared to the bigger capitals, does have more of that warmth, that welcome, and that neighbourliness, and that really helped with the score.
So, Mark, the measure we were best at was could you phrase that again for us? What was it? With the accepting people for who they are?
Accepting people as they are. So we looked at 9 different measures of kindness, and this aspect of tolerance and acceptance was a key measure, and that's what you got in South Australia. So in other words, not prejudging people, assuming that people are good-minded, fair-dinkum people, and treating them that way. If we're suspicious, if we're unsure, if we're prejudging people, that's more likely to make us guarded and less likely to step out of our comfort zone and say g'day or help people. But if we just accept everyone's, like us and accept the best of intentions, again, we're more likely to show that kindness. We might
be so that's the one where we're going best by, and we're number 1 overall. So that's a good spot to be. But if we could improve anywhere, where would it be? Where do we not do so well in the 9 areas?
Well, probably this overthinking kindness, and this has been a new thing that's emerged. We tracked that some people aren't being. They're saying that there's about 3 acts of kindness they think of doing per week they don't, because they're unsure of how it's going to be perceived. If they open a door for a woman, if they give up a seat for an older person, if they jump in and pick up the oranges for someone, what if they think about hygiene, or if I sanitize my hands? All of this is holding us back. So probably that's the big outcome of this for South Australians. Act from the heart, not the head. Don't overthink it. Do what comes naturally in terms of that courtesy, and step out and deliver even more of these acts of kindness rather than overanalyzing it.
And that's good stuff. Makes us feel good as South Australians yet again, because it's been one hell of a year here for SA, getting the accolades it so richly deserves. Mark McCrindle, the founder and principal of McCrindle Research, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Oh, great to be with you. Thanks, guys.
Be good to hear some stories of kindness. What's something kind that's happened to you?
Yeah.
Something random, a random act of kindness that's occurred to you in the last few months. 8223 0000 is the number. You know, we've got a share house over the road at our place. What you'd call a notorious share house, because it's been a share house since the 90s, and I know because a couple of my mates used to live there in our street. And the first night I came home, everyone, what's that damn noise? And it's like, those kids over the road, and I thought I've tuned into the old guy.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Didn't ring the cops or anything. It made me feel kind of wistful for my lost
You know,
youth. But you know, one of the residents, this young girl, when the lockdown started last year, she letterboxed the entire street and said, hey, my name's Lisa. I live at, the number. And if anyone needs me to do shopping for them, if anyone's a mobile or elderly and can't get out, I'm happy to do it, because she works at the Central Market. And I thought, what a cool thing to do.
Yeah. Interesting, Mark mentioned overthinking acts of kindness. It's the unfortunate byproduct of the modern world, isn't it? Opening doors for... I'm sure there are times I don't do it. I try to open doors if you're the first one to get there for everyone. But I must confess, sometimes these days you think there is that whole perception among younger people that that's some archaic gendered action that sort of suggests...
I reckon so what? Like, if I would never get in the lift before a woman.
Yeah, I agree. I
always stand back.
But there are some women who go, what? Am I not capable? Am I not equal?
I
know what he's saying.
Tiny number of
I know what
like
he's
that.
saying. I 100% know what he's saying when he says overthinking it, because I've thought that. I've thought, hang on.
Do you stand when you meet a woman for the first time?
No, I've not heard that one before.
I do. I always stand up for a woman.
You stand up?
Yeah, I think so.
How often do you... Yeah, I suppose... How often are you sitting down when you first meet someone? I suppose maybe if you go...
Well, last night at the Poana dinner, there were three women on the table that I never met before, so you just do a little lift yourself up.
Oh, I'm not
I don't
familiar
know. I
with
was
that
always
one.
taught you to do that.
Okay.
Is that still a thing?
Well, I'm sure.
Bruce? He's shrugging his shoulders like I'm rabbiting on like a weirdo again. She said, don't mind it.
Okay,
Right,
Chris in Morphett Vale's called in. Morning to you, Chris.
Yeah, g'day, guys. There's three quick ones for you. In relation to opening the door, I actually looked this up. Men have actually got it the wrong way around, apparently. When we walk into a strange place or to a place we haven't been to before with a lady, we're actually meant to walk in first, because why would you send your lady into a place first that you don't know about? So it's actually meant to be a protectionary thing, which I thought was interesting. And random act of kindness, I think the end of Ramadan came up recently, and our next door neighbours celebrate Ramadan, and unfortunately with COVID they couldn't attend their mosque, and so they came over and shared a whole lot of food with us, and which I thought was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And just that sort of neighbourly thing, which doesn't happen enough these days. So yeah, it's still out there.
What sort of tucker was it, out of interest, Chris? Which Islamic place are they from?
They're from Iraq, actually. And the food that came over was this spicy rice and chicken. And,
yum.
And it was, I like spicy food, so it was just right up my alley. But yeah, we just had tons of it, because obviously they were going to share it with
like a pilaf.
People. Yeah, very much like a pilaf, yes.
Beautiful. Love a good pilaf. Good on you, Chris.
Good on you, Chris.
You like a pilaf, Will?
With pilaf rice.
Yeah.
26 minutes after 8. Just seeing some news coming through from Victoria. Looks like there'll be a leadership spill for the leader of the Liberal Party position tomorrow.
That guy is hopeless, isn't he? Michael O'Brien?
Michael O'Brien. Matthew Guy and Tim Smith resigned from Shadow Cabinet in the last 45 minutes, been reported by 10 News First in Melbourne. So that is very much on.
In a political sense, this is a mercy killing. How you can, given the dramas that beset the Andrews government last year, how the Liberal Party has been so utterly unable to land a punch on the guy is just hysterical. And I think part of it is because they've been so mindlessly aggro the entire time, rather than taking a more specific and focused approach. They just sounded negative, carping, whinging, and he's cooked his own goose, that bloke. 246 new COVID cases in Victoria today as well. Going up quite dramatically there, isn't it?
Certainly is. Time for Fuel Watch, thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW. Prices went up off the charts over the weekend. Now, instead of the very welcome $1.30s we were seeing all last week, it's high $60s around Adelaide today. So if you were driving around, cruising around over the weekend with that half-empty tank, not good news for you this morning. Not all suburbs have caught the price jump this morning. If you head to Edwardstown, Underdale, up to the hills, there is the tail end of the cheap petrol that's still available out there. 28 minutes after 8, back with more shortly.
For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business inside 4 hours. Leader Computers are local, made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
When a human body is submerged in water heated to 34 degrees Celsius, the body experiences almost weightlessness. This optimises movement and helps provide relief from most forms of chronic pain like arthritis and recovery after major surgeries like knee or hip replacements. Adelaide Hydrotherapy is a new aquatic complex staffed by highly experienced physios and exercise physiologists who can help manage your chronic pain. Speak to your GP about a referral to Adelaide Hydrotherapy and start feeling better today.
Whether you've been thrilled by it on a movie soundtrack or its power and energy have persuaded you to buy everything from coffee to beer, Carmina Burana is always an epic concert event. From the mighty opening chorus O Fortuna, Carmina Burana is an unforgettable musical experience with more than 200 performers on stage with the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra. Don't miss this sensational one-night-only Festival of Orchestra event, Carmina Burana, Saturday, November 27. Book now at aso.com.au.
Up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. That's right, bigger the size, bigger the deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Up to 30% off double, up to 40% off queen, and up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles. Our range includes the best names in Australian-made mattresses from Sealy Posturepedic, King Coil by AH Beard, Sleepmaker and Beauty Rest. Up to 50% off King mattresses and ensembles. Bigger the size, bigger the deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles in-store only. Now at Harvey Norman.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows, factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 17 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Nearly 500,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine arrived in Australia from the UK overnight. It's part of a swap deal which will total 4 million jabs. 330,000 doses will be allocated to South Australia. Well, big names in the Australian music industry have banded together to launch a campaign supporting the vaccine rollout. Nine's Gail Watson reports.
Vaccination features Powderfinger's song My Happiness and shows images of large crowds of people enjoying live concerts. The theme, Stop the Interruptions.
The statewide lockdown.
Jackie Antas from Live Nation says more than 400 organisations and artists are involved.
I don't think the industry has worked together like this ever before.
She says they're using social media to get the message out.
And Victoria has recorded 246 new local COVID cases today. 121 are linked to known outbreaks. There's been a stabbing at Huntfield Heights. Police were called to Sherry Court just after 1:30 this morning. Senior Constable Dave Muir says they located a 65-year-old man with a stab wound to the neck.
This was following an alleged altercation with a man that he'd actually met earlier in the day. Now, the suspect left prior to police arriving. The victim was taken to Flinders Medical Centre in a serious but stable condition.
Investigations are continuing. Coercive control, online abuse and violence prevention will be among topics discussed at the National Women's Safety Summit. The two-day virtual event beginning today will inform the next national plan to end violence against women and children. Just under 230 organisations have signed up to participate. Minister for Women's Safety Anne Ruston says abuse can come in many forms.
Technology-facilitated abuse is one of the new and emerging areas of violence. What was once a telephone, which was an object of safety, has turned into potentially being an object of abuse.
Melbourne researchers have developed a simple test aimed at children to diagnose who is at risk of diabetes before symptoms appear. The single finger prick test is taken 2 hours after a glucose drink. Professor John Wentworth says they hope to not only test every child in a diabetes family, but every child in Australia.
So we would generally start screening from age 2 and upwards, and we would keep going to age 20, and we would probably screen at 5-yearly intervals with a simple finger prick blood test.
Clean-up crews and the US Coast Guard are trying to trace the source of an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. The slick has been discovered off the coast of Louisiana in the wake of Hurricane Ida. There are reports it could be coming from an offshore underwater drilling site. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Who loves South Australia as much as you do? FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The Brisbane Lions are expected to make a statement sometime today in regards to news that Lachie Neale wants to be traded back to Fremantle. The club says they haven't spoken to Neale about it, saying he still has 2 years to run on his contract. Meantime, Bulldogs captain Marcus Bontempelli is set to have scans in Perth today to determine whether he's fit to play in Saturday night's prelim final against Port Adelaide. Well, Max Verstappen has retaken the lead in the Formula One World Championship after taking out the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen says they need to stay focused ahead of next week's trip to Italy.
Still very tight, and next week is going to be, again, a very important race for us. Monza's never been our strong point. But let's see what we can do. I mean, for the moment, I'm just very happy with this weekend.
To golf, an American Patrick Cantlay has claimed the biggest win of his career, taking out the FedEx Championship by a shot ahead of Spain's John Rahm in Atlanta. Starting the day 2 shots clear, he finished 1 in front, but that was enough for him to collect a staggering $15 million US.
Yeah, it felt like a huge event, and it was. I played great today, and it hasn't even sunk in yet. I just kept telling myself to focus and lock in, and I did a great job of that today.
Certainly did. That audio thanks to Fox. Aussie Cameron Smith finished tied for 14th, but still picks up a very handy $600,000 US. And England and India are set for a thrilling final day in the 4th Test at the Oval. The home side to resume day 5 at none for 77, needing another 291 runs to win. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Expect delays this morning at Northfield, Grange Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. Both directions affected there. Woodville Park slow going. Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for works. And Crafers and Stirling got a few delays there this morning. Both directions too. It's on the freeway for works. Speeds are down to 60. Busy on the drive-in. Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road with cameras this morning. Halsey Road, Elizabeth East and May Terrace at Brooklyn Park. No time to sort a home loan. ANZ mobile lenders are on hand anytime, anywhere. For a home loan specialist who can work around you, search ANZ Mobile Lending. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
17 and partly cloudy today, the same tomorrow, then up to 22 and sunny on Wednesday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 to 9, there'll be 26,500 tickets to the prelim on sale from midday today. David Koch won't be there. unfortunately. We'll chat with him before 9 o'clock today. He'll be there in spirit, I'm sure, as will many other Port members who won't be able to get along to see the game. But look, the result goes the right way, and I don't think many of them will care, frankly. They would have traded the ticket for a win this weekend against the Bulldogs. We'll talk more about that a little bit later this half hour. We've been talking earlier in the program about the upgraded Goodwood Springback and Dawes Road intersection. 60,000 people a day go through it. $61 million was spent on upgrading it. And today, it goes up to 60 k's an hour, full speed limit, full power has been unleashed. We're getting your reviews. Sue in O'Halloran Hill, good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you going?
Yeah, good, Sue. Do you like it? Is it working?
Oh, yeah, I love it. And we come through there all the time. And it's been tolerable for a while, but it'll be fantastic now. I was going to talk to you more about the name. You were talking about Peter Van and everything.
Yes.
You would have noticed, if you've been there a lot of times, there was only one house next to that corner, just one house, and that was Joyce Rashid's. And she lived there before the intersection was there. She lived there for 60 years. She turned 100 last year and sadly then died. But I think you should call it Rashid Corner.
Rashid
that's
Corner.
A nice idea.
That's a lovely idea, Sue.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Thank you very much. Rashid Corner.
Someone also suggested Bedford Corner, given Bedford Industries.
Yep.
Bedford Bingo. I think Thursday nights they have Bedford Bingo.
It deserves a name.
Yeah.
It can't be known as,
Rashid Corner. Well, there's four corners.
The word soup intersection that it currently is. That doesn't roll off
There's
the tongue.
4 corners.
There tends to be.
So you could call the... you could call the southwestern one Dawes Road High Corner.
You could.
Yeah.
Just as a hat tip.
My wife went there.
A hat tip to Dawes. That doesn't exist anymore,
Along
does it?
with Glen Ridge.
Well, there you go.
He went there.
There you go. Jill in Modbury, good morning.
Good morning. I've got a wonderful neighbour. She's only about 55 and works full time. I'm 79. Where to go?
I think your phone's,
Jill, your phone's not really working.
Conspired against us, sadly, Jill.
We might try and fix
Sorry
it
about
up.
that. Hopefully we can get you back on. We've got a lot of texts rather on the Telstra Storm Outbarker text line about acts of kindness. One here from Helen says, last week my husband was sitting in Marion waiting for me. The guy next to him got up to go. His wallet fell out of his pocket. And my husband chased after him, gave the wallet back to him, and the guy gave my husband a bear hug. Thank you. What about that?
Good old
How
bear
nice.
hug.
Yeah. Bear hug. There's a time and a place for social distancing, and I reckon if another bloke's found your wallet, then that's not it.
COVID can't kill hugging.
It can't.
As averse you are to physical, you're not a physical contact guy, are you?
Oh, no, I don't mind it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whatever gave you that impression?
Or is it Andy I'm thinking of?
After you tried to hug me the other day.
I just thought I'd give you a big hug.
You, Bembo. You. Thanks for being you. Another one here from Mike. He says, when I've unloaded my shopping into my car and I'm taking my trolley to the return bay, if I see someone about to do the same, I'll offer to take theirs too.
Oh, what a legend.
Oh, Mike.
That's good stuff.
You're filled with love.
Jill in Modbury, I think we've got you back on a better line now.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that sounds better.
That's wonderful, Jill.
Okay. I've got a fantastic neighbour. She's about 55. She works full time. She knows I've got possessional vertigo, which is a pain in the butt. She'll change light globes. She'll help me in the garden. I have to ring her every day to let her know that I'm still kicking. If she goes shopping, she'll come over. Is there anything I can get you? And I just feel at a loss to know what I can do for her. She won't take anything.
Well, Jill, how about we give you... I'm sure James won't mind. How about we give you a $100 Wohlers voucher?
Oh, that's a great idea.
And you give it to your neighbour. And
That'd
that
be
way
fantastic.
she can't quibble with it.
Yeah.
You can say, no, look, sorry, it wasn't my idea. It was the boys at 5AA did this through James.
Yeah. But, I've got a son, and he doesn't even ring to see if I'm still in the land of the living.
Well, he needs to
guess what?
have a good hard look at himself.
He's not getting a Wohlers gift card, Jill. Come on, Jill's son.
Lift.
But good on Jill's neighbour.
Yeah,
thank you,
good on
Jill.
you,
That's
Jill.
a lovely story. 8223 0000 is our number. Now, we started the program talking about the wonderful sights and scenes overseas with things reopening and life returning to normal. So too is the case for one of France's most famous tourist attractions. The Moulin Rouge is reopening for the first time in 18 months. It's reopening with a very Australian flavour. 21 of the dancers from here in Australia.
I'm so excited. I'm also a bit nervous. It was a bit of a culture shock when I first got here. but I've been dreaming of being here since I was a little girl. This costume is all rhinestone and sequins, all handmade, and it's just a dream to wear.
When there's Australians in the audience and they find out and they realise, hey, some of them come from down the road where I'm from, and so that's kind of nice as well.
It's been really weird to not be performing every day and trying to find something to do. You have to give it your all every night, and that's something I think the Aussie spirit kind of brings to the table.
Of the 21 dancers, 3 of them are blokes too.
Wow.
3 male dancers.
That's an extraordinarily high number.
It's unbelievable. We were there in January 19 months ago. We were there probably one of the last shows before they all closed it down, and I think there was one Australian
Christmas
in it.
2019.
Yeah, New Year 2000.
Did you go to it?
Yeah, we did.
Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
Wow.
In January, one of the dancers was Australian. So I don't know what happened since then. They clearly spread the word around.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Lise. Does that mean Red Windmill? It does. There you go.
Hey, FIVEaa's partnered with Avanti Care, and we've been doing this to celebrate healthcare heroes. Well, the entries are in. This is great. So what we're going to do now from all this week is you're going to hear from Jane Riley, who's been out catching up with the winners of Healthcare Heroes. And today, Jane's speaking with Lydia from Avanti Care about the project.
Well, I'm so excited today to be here at Avanti Care with the CEO, Lydia Conchi. Now, they are the major sponsor of Healthcare Heroes, which has just been amazing this year, a huge reaction. Lydia, why did you get involved with Healthcare Heroes on 5AA?
Because Healthcare Heroes is so aligned to who we are as an organisation. We work across all of the sectors and the categories of allied health, aged care, disability and medical, and so it made sense that everything we're trying to achieve in terms of purpose and wellbeing is what these amazing healthcare heroes are doing in their everyday, so we just wanted so much to help acknowledge that.
What kind of services does Avanti Care offer?
Avanti Care offers all allied health and wellbeing services, including physiotherapy, speech pathology, dietitians, podiatrists and occupational therapists and more. It's across a range of sectors, residential care, home care services and our wellbeing hub. So anyone adult upwards can access our services. But I think what we're offering is very much a sense of empowerment and health and wellbeing and helping people facilitate what's meaningful in their life, to be engaged in that and have purpose in their life.
I think it's more than just looking after the physical side, which many people think this sort of work involves, but it's also looking after the person's happiness and their purpose in life.
Yeah, absolutely. All the dimensions of wellbeing, their happiness, their joy, their spirituality, their physical, social, occupational, intellectual, environmental wellness, everything. We address all of that because really to get optimal wellbeing, all of those areas need to be looked at.
We had a record number of nominees this year, 92. What did you feel when you were reading some of those nominations?
Really, really warmed my heart. Just to see what people are doing out there and going over and beyond because they genuinely care for the people that they're working with. That was so beautiful and it connected to who we are.
How do people get in touch with you?
Look on our website, follow us on social media. There's lots of information on there and you can give us a call. All our details are there.
Lydia, thank you for joining us and thank you so much for being the major sponsor of Healthcare Heroes.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be great. Jane's done a terrific job and you'll hear some of those stories play out on 5AA Breakfast over the coming weeks. It's time to check traffic thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
In the city, look out for a smash in Poultney Street and Angus Street. Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60. Woodville Park, slow going Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for works. And getting busy on the drive-in Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. Look out for cameras Ashwin Parade, Torrensville and Fairfield Road at Elizabeth Grove. The Suicide Squad starring our very own Margot Robbie. This is the epic supervillain film of the year. Fast track from cinemas to your home. The Suicide Squad, new to buy or rent on digital now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Grab your best mates and get these great rates. Then get ready, save and go to the NT now. With mates rates packages, you save up to $1,000 per person on getaways to the Red Centre, including Alice Springs, Uluru, Kings Canyon, Carter Judah, West McDonnell Ranges and more. The Red Centre is wide open and it's ready, save, go to the NT now. With deals from just $3.99 per person. Book now and travel to April 2022. Visit ntnow.com.au.
Want more chances to win big? The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is giving 5 lucky winners $50,000 each in our $50,000 frenzy. Get your tickets by midnight Friday and you could be winning big. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for the $3 million grand prize, $1 million in bonus prizes and $1 million early bird prize. Hurry, get your tickets at homelottery.com.au.
Licence M14053.
Everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, sold by McGain again.
Again, Will, again.
Again and again.
Again and again. Again and again. And as you... I was singing a Cure song there. And as you keep hearing, there's still buyers everywhere, so you can expect plenty of offers on your home as soon as you list.
And right now, McGain have families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale. So, look, if you're looking to sell, contact the brilliant team at McGain and ask them about their McGain match strategy, because they could already have the perfect buyer for your property.
They probably will, because they've got a huge back catalogue of people who are raring to go. With the largest amount of buyer activity in the past 20 years, it's the perfect time to act, and just another reason why everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, you've got it, sold by McGain
again.
So you've got a will. That's good. But do you know where it is, or when it was updated last? Have your circumstances changed? An old or poorly thought out will can leave problems for your family and those you love, and it can be expensive to sort out. Don't let that be your legacy. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, you can trust Donlan Lawyers to help carry out your wishes. Wills and estate planning? Visit donlanlawyers.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 to 9, time to catch up the host of Channel 7's Sunrise program, David Koch. Not sure what stage of prelim final week he's at the moment. Is it just nerves? Is it excitement? Did you burst out of bed ready to run through a brick wall, Koshy? How are you feeling?
Well, it's nerves, and it's also planning my recreation of Chris Hemsworth's pose in front of the Bulldogs win in front of the TV. If we can do it on Saturday night, I'm ready to step in.
Koshy, do you typically watch Port games shirtless?
No, not usually. So it didn't look the most natural one in the world.
No.
But anyhow, we'll
Very
see
odd.
what we can do. Yeah.
What do you make of the game Saturday night, Koshy? Because the wisdom holds that you want to play a side that's been beaten up pretty badly in a game. I tell you what, they just fell over the line, the Dogs.
Yeah, it was and a really exciting game, great for footy. And Bont sort of said there'll be no problem with him playing on the weekend, which is good. It's just a bit of a shame Corey Waitman won't be able to play because of the concussion rule, which we wish him well. But if they're a bit battered and bruised, good.
That's right. So let's just get.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
No,
It's good.
Exactly, absolutely. So let's just get this straight, though, Koshy. So a home prelim final, Port Adelaide here in Adelaide. The chairman won't be here.
Not at this stage, no. I haven't heard back anything from SA Health, which is fair enough. They've got a lot on their plate. No one just in the queue like anyone else. So if I can, would be great. If I can't, well, that's just the way it is in these times.
What about the grand final? Have you had any word about that?
Well, I wouldn't be able to go to the grand final at all. Because I would I was hoping if I could quarantine in Adelaide, I'd go straight through. But if I can't do that, it will be no. So I'll be watching it at home. So
are you happy with the 50% capacity for Adelaide Oval for the prelim?
Yeah, look, we're happy with anything we can get at the moment. You look at a lot of other sports around the country and what we've had to go through for the season. So we're happy with any level of capacity. And, I think we showed the weekend before last, if you get 20,000, 25,000 Adelaide Oval, Port fans sort of bring an atmosphere that's equivalent to about 60,000 anyhow. So the boys will be revved up for it. Our supporters get us across the line on a regular basis. And they'll be there in fine voice on Saturday night, and we need all the help we can get because remember the Doggies are on top most of the season, so they're a quality side. It's going to be a cracking game.
Koshy, we were chatting earlier about the Grattan Institute plan for split parental leave, a model that would see 6 weeks for each parent and then 12 weeks to be divvied up as you'd like after that point, and immediately thought of our chat that was coming up with you. Your thoughts on something like this from an economic perspective?
Look, I think it's worth considering and is a good idea, but it's all in the timing. For example, Lib and I were driving to pick up some takeaway on Saturday night to support the local businesses here in Sydney, and the number of empty shops up for lease as a result of these lockdowns, it's just not the right time for it. Yes, there is a time for it. There's no doubt about that in the future. But when you've got so many businesses and small businesses that have been absolutely battered financially by this COVID lockdown, now's not the time to do it. Let's get back and everything up and working again and helping small business recover as much as we can, and then that's the time to think about it. Not now. Just the timing's wrong for it.
Well, I've got a horrible feeling, Koshy, that when we talk to you next Monday, you're going to be walking on air.
I hope so. and in advance, thank you for your good wishes going into Saturday night as well.
Didn't hear any of that. I don't think that happened.
I just assumed it.
Okay. I wouldn't in this case.
What's best for the state?
Yeah.
It's what you call unstated support.
Hey, Koshy, we've got to live here.
Good but I tell you, if Port not only win the prelim but win the flag, I'd happily move to Sydney for the next 3 weeks, and you can sit here in my chair.
Oh, come on! Maybe we could swap places.
Oh yeah.
Good on you,
Koshy. A crack at sunrise.
All right, guys, have a good week.
Cheers, the Channel 7 Sunrise program. David Koch, 5 to 9 behind closed doors in a moment.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I was angry when my mattress sagged. It was just a year old, and no one told me it was just a slab of foam inside. Then I got a Sleeping Duck. To see the Sleeping Duck and its Indestruct springs take on a 15-ton steam roller, check out mattrestesting.com.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Start building now, and you could be living the life many envy at the 19th. Choose your architecturally designed 2, 3 or 4 bedroom luxury home package now from just $730K. The 19th at West offers an incredible lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways by foot or bike, sail or paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach, or play around at the Grange Golf Club. It's all yours from just $730K, but you'd better be quick. Visit the19thwest.com.au today.
The perfect time to get your evaporative air conditioner serviced is now. Give Ken a call. We clean the filter pads, check the water levels, and make sure your evaporative air conditioner is ready for those hot summer days. Ken Hall Plumbers, 8364 5855.
Spring into a new kitchen with You Install It Spring Sale and get up to 25% off cabinets this month only. Stop dreaming and start renovating. Custom-sized and pre-assembled cabinetry means big savings without compromising on quality and style. Do it now. Plan your perfect kitchen with our 3D design planner online. Search You Install It or visit our showrooms at Modbury, Glandore, Norwood, Lonsdale and Churchill Centre. You Install It Kitchens, the complete DIY kitchen solution. Conditions apply.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3 minutes to 9 and it's time to go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is the Sunday Roast, talking Adelaide sport.
Yes! Well, welcome everybody to the Sunday Roast. The legend of South Australia sport, KG with you. No, come on KG, don't start all that stuff. Come on, fire up son. And my co-host is on this beautiful Father's Day, Sam Tugwell. How are you, Tugger? Yes, good KG, how are you? I am a fantastic Tugger, and Tugger, isn't it good that I can call you Tugger? Well, I suppose so, KG, yeah. Because, Tugger, let's face it, normally you wouldn't come on the radio and say Tugger. No, but your name is Sam Tugwell. It is, so I can call you Tugger or Tuggers, and it sounds a bit edgy, but I can't get into trouble for it. No, that's good, isn't it, KG? It sure is, Tugger. Okay. Tugger. Right, and believe you me, you can believe me, you believe that I'll say Tugger whenever I can, Tugger. I bet you will, Ken. Tugger, and hopefully it's a great morning for fathers everywhere, KG. Yes, a great day for fathers, Tuggers. And I heard, KG, that you're going to lunch today. Yes, I am, yes, with my beautiful daughter Sally and my beautiful granddaughters Dakota and Hunter. But I heard that you're paying for your own Father's Day lunch. What's that about? Well, my two beautiful granddaughters, Hunter and Dakota, said, we're going to lunch today, Pop. Who's paying? And I said, well, your mum will be paying, which is my beautiful daughter Sally. Right. And they said to me, and by they, I mean my beautiful granddaughters Hunter and Dakota, they said, no, Mum said you're paying. Oh, really? Yes. I said, how come it's Father's Day and I'm paying for lunch? Oh, what's going on, KG? I don't know, Tuggers. It's a bit rough, I reckon. Sure is. Although everybody knows that if my beautiful granddaughters Hunter and Dakota and my beautiful daughter Sally said, Dad and Pop, why don't you jump off a cliff? I would. Okay, now a lot going on in the world of football, Ken. If my beautiful daughter Sally said, Dad, drink this bottle of Tabasco sauce, I'd gulp it down. We heard some great news today for the SANFL, KG. If my beautiful granddaughters Hunter and Dakota said, Poppy, why don't you rub this 80 grit sandpaper all over your eyeballs? I would. You would. I cleaned that up. You did.
We're out of time. Leon Byner's coming up. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.